I like it because it focused me on the person, and it also helps me focus on what you're saying.
Okay.
Everything outside is just gone, you know? That's one of the beauty.
You're like into it now, yeah? Yeah.
Now we're in the zone.
Okay.
Now it's gonna happen. We're already recording this whole time, so don't worry about it.
All right.
Which is you said you're like the same. You come from the same place as Kamzat.
I'm from Chechnya. Exactly. Yeah. Hamzat is also from there.
Man.
Yeah. Wait, let me see. Let me take this off. I'm gonna get.
No, take it easy. And man, Kamzat, what the fuck? Yesterday, he came in with the shirt from a Chechnyan Republic. Yeah, that is pride.
Of course.
I miss that like patriotism. Man,
yeah.
Yesterday I bet on Gilbert Burns.
Really?
Purely out of patriotism.
Okay.
Like we have Brazilians, of course, and I was like, he's gonna win. But that fight was awesome.
That's the only fight I watched from the entire event. Like in the morning, I just got up and got my link where I usually watch my fights and watched it. To be honest, I expected he would win much more convincingly. Hamzat.
Yeah.
I was telling my friends like, yeah, Gilbert gonna get a few strikes in, maybe 10 strikes, but Hamzat's gonna take care of him in one round.
Man, it was a 3-round war.
Yeah, Gilbert did really good. Yeah.
Oh God, what is with the headbutt at the end? Is that Hamzat being crazy, or is that something?
Yeah, I think Hamzat is a bit of a wild guy. Like usually people from that region, maybe if you can think of Habib, like they're more calm, religious. Hamzat's also religious, obviously, but he has like a crazy side to him. Like he screams, you know, the part where he says, "Kill everybody, kill everybody." Like that's
we all know one of those people in jiu-jitsu. We all know one of those is in our gym. There's always one of these crazy guys. But I love him. Yeah, but the headbutt also felt friendly. It didn't felt bad. It was like a more of a sign of respect than anything else.
I think after a fight you have all these feelings like emotions, adrenaline, so I understand it in that regard. Yeah,
definitely, man,
for sure, man.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I didn't even give an introduction. That's how excited I am for this. I have in front of me, man, the great Azzi Garami.
You're too kind.
This man blew up on Instagram, and really, just from what I've heard from other people, just the greatest gentleman around. And I'm so happy to sit down with him and talk a lot about one of my favorite things in life, and that is jiu-jitsu, guys. Training and getting better. These are the things that we're here to talk about, and I'm excited to pick his brain.
I'm excited to be here, man. Thank you for having me, and that's a very, very kind introduction.
Oh, man, it's all truth. All truth. So, let me get to we're talking about this right now. You're Chechnya?
I'm from Chechnya.
Cool, man. How did you came to the Netherlands? How did you come to the Netherlands? Where were you born in Chechnya? I have so many questions.
Yes. So let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Chechnya, for those that don't know, is like a small country, small republic inside of Russia.
Yeah.
And in the beginning of the 90s, midway of the 90s, we had a war with Russia. Like the Soviet Union collapsed. It was a very bad situation, a lot of chaos. And Chechnya wanted their own independence from Russia because we are our own people, our own ethnicity. So there's some nationalist pride in there. So Chechens wanted to be independent. Russia did not accept it. So there was a war which followed. When I was about... I might be wrong on this, but when I was a few years old, like 3-4 years old, we had to flee the country because it's terrible, people dying, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we came from Chechnya all the way to the Netherlands, and that's how we got here, basically. That's the story of how I got here.
Oh my God, that was actually... There's some background to that, man.
Yeah. Like
how did your family deal with it? How do you remember a little bit how old you were, or were we talking like baby years old?
So the memories I have of Chechnya at that age are really vague. Like I was a few years old, 3, maybe 4. So I don't really know how much is real or how much I got told. You know, it's really hard to think back about this. My family, like I have cousins, an aunt, uncle who also moved with us to the Netherlands. But I also have like most of my family stayed in Russia, or they moved to Moscow, or they stayed in Chechnya. Some people just don't want to leave. They don't want to leave their country, so that's also a part. That's how my family went about it. Like there's probably every Chechen you see in the Netherlands or in Europe, they have left during the war. But luckily now the situation is stable, so people can live there. It's people are happy there now, most of them. Yeah, so that's
and it's becoming much more like, especially in fighting, globally seen. There's like a lot more attention towards it, and I think it's amazing. You guys have is there some kind of secret that you guys are good fighters? Tell me about it.
I can't tell, man. It's
state secret.
State secret. They'll kill me.
It's the goat fat. It's the goat fat, right? I remember watching a wrestling documentary where they went over there to Chechnya to see the kids like wrestle, and the teacher was like, "Goat fat, man, goat fat in the food everywhere. That's what makes it happen." And they were all killers. I was like, no.
Well, Chechen diet is like consists of a lot of meats. So we all eat meat and dough. Like every dish we have, there's dough or meat in it. A
man's meal.
Exactly. No veggies.
No veggies.
No fruits.
Oh, beautiful.
No, so this situation with Chechnya, because probably the same thing about Dagestan, right? Like a lot of fighters, wrestlers, all kinds of combat sports people, they come from these regions. Not just Chechnya, also Ingushetia, Ossetia. It's like a small republics in the northern Caucasus. So we have a lot of talented athletes in combat sports. While Chechnya, I think, is only 1.4 million, 1.5 million inhabitants.
Wow, that's really 1.5.
Yeah, Dagestan has like 3.5, I think. The reason for this, I think, this has to be mainly culture, mentality of the people in that region. I think life is really tough for people in that region, and in our culture we have like a really macho culture. Yeah, so men are really supposed to be strong. We're supposed to know how to fight, how to defend ourselves. So that's a really big part in our culture. Yeah. So that's how I was raised as well. Like in the beginning, like I remember one time when I was small, I used to fight a lot. One time I came home from a fight. I used to fight with bigger boys, like a few years older than me. I got my ass kicked, came home crying. He said, my dad said, like, you can lose a fight, but you're not supposed to cry. You're Chechen. Chechens don't cry. So that will give you like an image of how we're supposed to be. Yeah, and we just have like this incredible discipline in terms of life. You know what I mean? And no drinking, no drugs.
Is that a little bit religion based, or is it more like culturally based?
Yes, I think both.
Both.
I think religion is in the culture of Chechnya. So sports are really important for men, like combat sports. No partying, no that kind of stuff. You know, it's frowned upon. Of course, in the religion, it's also not allowed, all these things. But the fighting itself, I think it's like a culture thing. Chechens love to fight. Like every Chechen I know has done some sport, whether it's boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, martial arts. Like
it's just in the blood, right in there.
Yeah. I think that's a very big part of it. Yeah.
I think one of the things that people say, like if something is within a culture, that's good. That kind of brings you up into it. But there's also a part where it's like, and it's in the lifeblood of the people in certain kind of ways. You know?
Yeah, like Chechnya is a small nation, and we had a lot of wars throughout the centuries with Russia, with all kinds of tribes trying to attack. So it's I think. Place.
That will strengthen the gene pool a lot.
Yeah, all the weaklings died. All the weaklings died, so the elites, you see the elite in front of you.
We are the best. Beautiful, man. Is that what brought you into, would you say this, that what brought you into jiu-jitsu as well? I'm jumping a bit ahead. We'll double back soon.
Well, that's a good question. So, like I said, every Chechen I know has done a martial art. My dad was a master of sports in judo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was a really high-level judo player, judo fighter. He won when he was young we call the all USSR games for judo, like when he was 16. So he was pretty high level. And so whenever, like, most of my memories of him, like, is him teaching me stuff. like about fighting, like throws or certain techniques, certain things you can do in a street fight. So I got brought up from a young age, like
it came from birth already, from like the
with all these things. So
we say you came from the crib already, like being taught how to throw people. It's amazing.
So I had this from the start of my my life. Like fighting was something which was part of it. But at a certain point, my parents split up, and I was with my mom, and I kind of abandoned that fighting altogether. I was focused more on other things: school, football, like the Dutch culture, you know, those kind of things. That was more my focus, but I always had I always liked to watch like street fights and stuff, and I would get into fights on the streets, like with people, like you know, when you're young, you get into these things. And there was a period in my life when I was in high school, middelbare school. Me and a friend, we took our laptops from school and we were watching street fights all the time. And this is the first time I heard about jiu-jitsu, and it was a street fight in Russia somewhere in the Caucasus. And this guy looks like he's being beat up. Yeah, he's on bottom. The guy on top is hammering down. It's a street fight. They're in jeans, jacket. He's getting punched in the face, everything. And then all of a sudden, he shoots up a triangle. And I'm like, what's going on here? I have never seen a triangle before. Like, what is going on? He has him in a triangle, and then he yells in Russian, but I'll translate. He says, "Communicate now, bitch." And that sounded so cool. It sounded so, "Communicate now, bitch." And then he had him in a triangle.
We found the Russian ideas, giving fingers all around and going like, "Say something now, motherfucker."
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So he had him in a triangle.
Yeah.
And he didn't finish the triangle. He didn't choke him.
Yeah.
He just had him in a triangle, and he was raining punches on the guy.
No. That's my second worst nightmare right there.
And I was like, what is going on? So I go to the comment section and I read, this triangle choke, jiu-jitsu, and all this stuff. I'm like, wow, that shit is amazing. So that's how the first time I've heard of jiu-jitsu. A few years later, I started, I wanted to do some sport. And I was like, I'm Chechen, I need to know how to fight. I'm 18, 19, I don't know how old I was. So I decided to enroll, and I wanted to do MMA originally. That was my goal. I didn't start with jiu-jitsu. I did MMA, kickboxing, boxing, grappling. I combined all those things, and I did that for 3 years.
Yeah.
So this was 2014 I started.
Yeah, mixing.
Yeah. So I was not focused on jiu-jitsu. I was not even wearing a gi, nothing. Just doing grappling class 2 times a week. Yeah.
Okay, just for as a sole goal for like we're going towards MMA.
Yes.
I want to fight. I want to learn all fights.
Yes. So MMA was my goal, like from 2014 to 2017. I did compete though in grappling. Did fairly successful for a white belt, winning a lot. So that was everything fine. But I noticed like my grappling skill was much better than my kickboxing skill, my striking skill. You know, I was much better in the grappling part, and also because I loved it more. Yeah. I just liked grappling so much more than striking and all that stuff. I was much better at it. Eventually, I stopped training, like personal reasons, all kinds of stuff. 2 years I didn't train, 2.5 years. And then 2019, I came back to the same gym. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to start training again, but I'm going to do only grappling, only jiu-jitsu. And 2.5 years later now, that's where we are. So last 2.5 years, I've only been focused on jiu-jitsu and grappling.
Just focus on training and growing your jiu-jitsu and all this kind of stuff.
Yes, like specific focus. And my game improved so much faster than when I did MMA, kickboxing, all those stuff.
Yeah, all the things through. You get better at fighting, I think. But once you go specific, that's the moment you grow really into a direction. You know, you have like a goal.
Yeah.
It's more defined, I'd say.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of point where you went like, I did the right choice by doing this instead of, I had in my life like I did boxing a lot, and I switched over to jiu-jitsu when I found it and I started doing this, and like I enjoyed this so much more than standing in the ring for 3 minutes and beating the shit, getting my shit beat out of me, beating the shit out of people and more.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that the environment stays the same in aggression, like in strength and using and that kind of stuff. It stayed the same a little bit. I think the environment was nicer, or cooler to be in, and something like that. And it cost me so much more energy.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes was, oh my god! I never look back, but sometimes I think about it. Like, if I had spent more time in boxing, would have I become better?
How long did you do boxing?
Kind of the same story as you. Like, if the grandfather was a boxer, dad was a boxer, so the son had to be a boxer too. So since I was like a kid, this is like, oh, this is how you parry a punch. Like, I'm gonna punch you, slap it away, walk, move. So that was constantly in. Then I did a couple of fights. Went up to, like, in the Netherlands, it's amateur level, but then you have like ABC. I don't know, because in Brazil it's reversed, so it's CBA.
Is it like in kickboxing the same thing? Like boxing, kickboxing, they also have A, B, C divisions?
Yes,
yeah?
that
same
is
thing?
it.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but I never remember which is the top division.
A is the top in the Netherlands, for kickboxing at least.
In
Yeah.
Brazil, it's the other way around. So
Okay.
C is where you go to. Like, you start at A and then go B, C. So
Guys trying to be different, yeah.
yeah, always. We have to switch things up, man. We look at the white people and then we go like, they're doing it that way. We'll do the opposite.
I figured.
And yeah, I did there a couple of fights, but I don't know, man. At a certain point, I also got scared because it hurt my head. I was going to bed with like headaches and stuff like that. So I was like, everyday headaches is not a good sign. So.
Not a good thing. It's like, looking back, I'm happy I did like the MMA and all the stuff, because I know a bit of that in case I need to defend myself.
Mhm.
But you're much more prone to injuries.
Yes.
Because striking is involved, not just grappling. And imagine if I was focused 3 years on grappling, how much I would have improved. Maybe I wouldn't have stopped for 2 years like I did. But that's all in the past. You cannot change it. Things happened how they happened, but
it's all for the betterment of who you are now.
exactly.
That's something I believe.
There's no use in looking back and what if I did this way or this way? You just did it that way because of those circumstances back then. So there's no point really in thinking back like, hey.
But I do believe that everybody should know. If you're a grappler right there and you're doing purely grappling, man, go to a boxing class at least a couple of times just to know what it is. Just to know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, just chain things together. It's you mentioned a couple of times also for self-defense and stuff like that, which is important. I hold that as a big importance in the life of a man. If you are a man, you need to know how to defend not only you, but others, man. And jiu-jitsu is fun, but in a street fight with a bunch of guys around you, don't be too quick to do jumping arm bars and shit.
Exactly, but it's also like, if you don't know how to fight, you don't feel confident, I think. Like, at least you need to know a bit how to manage yourself in a situation. Like, hey, you'd be a lot more scared in a lot of situations, I think, if you don't know how to defend yourself. Like, I think a lot of my confidence comes from knowing, hey, if something were to happen now, at least I know what to do, what steps to take, I can defend myself.
I'll survive. That's the thing, yeah.
Well, maybe you'll just kick his ass too.
That's
Right?
a bonus. That's a bonus. If you can turn the tides on people, that's the bonus of things.
Yeah, I think that's a big part.
Just one step back before we go into, because this is the moment where we go too deep into stuff, you know, and I'm still trying to like sketch for myself how was it with once you got into the gym and you chose to do only grappling because you thought it was better for you, right? What made you think that? Do you have any kind of a eureka moment is usually what I ask for, and what I mean by that is that moment that changes you and you go like, this is it, or was it just preference? Could be.
Why? So your question is basically why I picked grappling and why I stuck with that. So, like I said, there's a period where I didn't train.
Yeah.
Like from 2017 to 2019, something like. End of 2019 is when I started again.
Yeah.
And during that period, I was still watching stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I was still keeping track of it. Like, hey, this guy is winning ADCC. Like, I knew about Gordon Ryan, you know, like, I know these things. And I wasn't that much interested in the other aspects of martial arts. Like, MMA, I'd still followed a bit. Khabib is like, I'm a big Khabib supporter. But grappling was like, when I watch it, I'm always thinking of, hey, if I'm that guy, how can I do this move? I'm like visualizing me doing that move in training, even when I wasn't training. Like, I was just looking and I was interested in this technique and the movements they make. It just makes me excited to see Yeah. So when I got back, I'm like, okay, I want to specialize in what I like. I want to do jiu-jitsu. I want to do grappling. This is what I like. And I saw a lot of people having success with leg locks. And I was like, right away, yeah, I want to do leg locks. Like I was really focused, like tunnel vision. I want to do this. And I came back in 2019 November. That's when I started training again. After
Was Corona happening then?
No,
not yet.
this was like personal stuff, like relationship, all this kind of stuff in my environment. I was just bad influences, friends. Like it was just a bad period for me altogether. And when I came back, I was like, yeah, I want to train. I want to do grappling. I want to get good at this, and all that stuff. Yeah,
there's actually some interesting stuff like that, and it is like did you notice that you were in a bad environment and that you decided to like go out of it? Did you first go out of it, out of your bad environment, or
this is a good question.
Did training pull you out of that bad environment?
That's a great question,
guys. Fuck it. Usually I ask about the origin story, but I'm having like so many philosophical moments here with Azzi right now, so I'm gonna go into that.
That's a great point. So the year 2019 for me was like the worst year of my life.
Oh my god,
it was terrible. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to talk about people who don't deserve to be talked about.
Yes.
But basically that was like a shit year of my life. I was so out of shape, never been that out of shape, like everything was wrong. And indeed, before I got back into training, the environment changed first. Like I moved to another place, not around the people anymore that I was around with before. So the environment changed first, and I needed that because I think if I stayed in that environment, it would continue endlessly until I moved away. So that changed first, and then I was able to change my habits, my discipline, my other stuff, and that's to answer your question.
That is, yeah. I think it's a very important thing is when you have to get yourself out of the environment. I mean,
100%.
If you're in the shit and you start creating habits within that, it's usually not going to be good ones, and they're not going to last. Like if you try that, I'm going to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, but you're hanging out with people that party every single day. Believe me, you're not waking up early.
Nope.
Yeah, man, that's an amazing piece of information right there. So for everybody out there, especially men, I like to address every single time I do this is I can't talk about women. I don't understand them. I'm 34 years into this life and I don't understand them, so I don't even try.
I don't think anyone does, man.
Man, that's the truth. I think they don't understand.
Yeah, I was about to say. Oh well.
Oh man, you train with a lot of one of the things that I always ask is, do you train with a lot of women or not that much? It's something that I feel that is so sorely it's growing more nowadays.
Yeah.
Like and from when I started, but
so I train at 2 gyms.
Yeah.
Team De Jager.
Yeah.
And Team Agua, both in Den Haag.
Shout out to both of them.
For sure, great gyms. At Team De Jager, sorry to say, we don't have a single girl. I mean, we have one, but she's not coming anymore.
Yeah.
But basically all guys.
Oh.
All guys. And Team De Jager is a bit different because we train their grappling classes 2 times a week and 1 time an open mat on Sunday. And it's not in the gi. I think it's a bit different. And if a girl would come, I think they don't like it to be sweaty and with guys and rash guards. I think that's kind of what, how do you say, doesn't attract them. That's what I think. At Team Agua, though, we have girls. I don't know how many, but I'd say not too many, though. I'd say 5. Like if I were to make an estimate, 5, maybe a bit more. And pretty much most of them train gi only.
Only gi, right?
Only gi.
Interesting.
I think that's more attractive for a lot of people as opposed to no gi, I think.
Do you have your preference?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
What is it? No gi.
Tell it to people so they can hear.
No gi all day, man.
Shame upon you. No, okay, I'll tell you why, because I was brought up traditionally in normal gi, and like I'll tell you, we know we did no gi because we did no gi at Friday,
Okay.
on the last day of the week. Why? Because all the geese were dirty and
Oh,
nobody
really?
had cleaned them anymore. And with there, you saw just this row of geese just hanging to dry, from washing. And then we were there. It's training time, and nobody has a gee.
Yeah.
So then it's shorts, and especially in the heat, man. There's
Oh, shit.
it's shorts and a rash guard if you had money, or a t-shirt if you were like the rest of us.
Yeah. Well, so I also train in the gi.
Yeah.
Not as often. I put it on every now and then. I must say it did improve my game.
Right?
100%.
Oh my God, I'm so happy I found somebody that doesn't discuss this with me. It makes better. I mean, you should know both.
You should know both. At least you should try it both. Like I understand people want to focus on no gi only, but there's things about when you put on the gi and then you understand passing a little bit better. That's what happened to me. First of all, you're not allowed to do heel hooks, so I had to pass. But like the game is slowed down.
Yeah.
And because it's slowed down, you become a bit more aware of a lot of things which you don't become aware instantly when you do no-gi. So the game is slowed down. I feel my weight shifting, having effect. I feel if I hold his grips here, so he'll hold his leg here, I can pass better here. So I think it gives you insights which you don't get as quickly or as easily if you do one thing only.
Beautiful.
That's what I think.
I agree. I agree that I don't want to say it's more technical, because that's not the case. It's both
Different.
sides. Both sides are technical and extremely at it.
Mm-hmm.
We believe that they're both still considered jiu-jitsu in a way. But we're going into like trying to describe something that is really hard to describe to people. I'll tell you my difficulty that I have, and Clifford gave me a great thing here. Sometimes with teaching or being something happened to with other teachers as well. They would do a move during sparring, and I remember asking my teacher, like, "How the hell did you do that?" He said, "Shit, the fuck, I don't know. I'm good. That's it." And all my teachers were Brazilian, so they were cocky as fuck. And so they were like, you know why I did it? Why? Because you were blue belting your shit at it, and you'll never... These were the words that were told me. You will never become a black belt. That's why.
Did it motivate you, or did it bring you down?
No, that they knew how to motivate me.
Okay.
Like when the doubt come in and stuff like that. But the older I got and the more I did it, the same thing happened. Sometimes I did shit during training, and they're like, "Why?" I said, "Because it felt good." I don't know, because it was the right thing to do at that moment. And I think that's because of there is no true explaining that small of a detail, like how your weight is going compared to timing and stuff like that. And I have it a lot more in gi. In no gi, it just feels like this wonderful spazzy, like chasing each other and stuff like that. It feels rougher.
I'd like to say something about that. Like what you're saying, it's like you get good at jiu-jitsu by doing jiu-jitsu, yeah? So even though if you know all the techniques and all the stuff, you memorize them, you know the moves, you won't get good. Like a certain part of jiu-jitsu is just invisible. Like it's not a technique you teach someone, but someone just learns how to move his body, his hips, his legs, how to shift his weight. You only learn that by sparring, rolling, like countless hours on the mat. Yeah, that kind of thing you cannot teach. I think, like you said, it just feels good.
It's just the right thing to do at a certain point, right?
Yeah.
That's why I came back to a little bit earlier. I asked about, like, do you train a lot with women? Because it's always a hard and delicate thing. You know, I 100% support training with them and everything, because the discrepancy between my weight and my strength with them, can I smash through them? Yeah. Is that the right thing to do? No, because I miss out on all the possibilities of them showing me their techniques, and women are technical. Man,
they have to be.
They have to be.
Yep.
They have to be. All of them are amazing. Like, once they keep going in it, they have insane guards usually. Yep. So that's why I usually ask, like, do you train a lot with women? Because for me, it's like it's always a treat, because I have to go 0 power, 0 weight, and I have to focus completely on my technique. And then I realize, oh God, I'm shit. I am shit at what I do.
Yeah. When I'm rolling with women, I indeed try not to use too much power. I'm a lot lighter than you, so I can roll with them without smashing them too much. I just try to use speed instead. So I try to be fast instead of strong. So I try to move fast around, like technical, and I don't let them beat me. Like no,
but you shouldn't.
No,
I don't.
You shouldn't give them the false of like, hey, you caught me. Like I'm just rolling with them like with anyone else. But instead of using power in situations where I would against someone stronger than me or the same strength, I would just use speed or technique. Like that's how I focus.
Great. Do you ever give anybody anything once you're rolling with them, or are you more like you have to deserve this?
I give sometimes to people like when I want someone to work for a competition,
especially if you're some like a partner and or like a student. Usually.
Yeah, so I do give people. I don't give them the sub. I don't like getting tapped. I don't give them the sub, but I let them get to good positions, and I try to work my way out of there. So I train as well against someone who's less skilled. But I want to have people. I don't want to be smashing everyone the entire time. It doesn't make sense for me to fight a white belt and dominate him every time. I just let them work, get to positions. When I feel he's too stuck, then I find a technical way to get out of it. And then maybe I'll discuss with him why he's stuck or what he could have done. So that's how I like to go about it.
Yeah, I think that's also a good way to treat him. Like, should you give in some kind of way? I think, yeah, it's hard. Going back to training with women, there's a certain amount of give that I do. Mm-hmm. It's like how much of an armbar can I actually give without stepping over into using strength to get it back and stuff like that. So that's an interesting little thing, man.
Yeah.
This all brought you to start showing jiu-jitsu to the world.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God. I mean, I saw it and people were talking about you, and I was seeing your videos way before that. You were popping up everywhere. Yeah. Man, that must have been insane.
Yeah.
I mean, did it of course everybody that's listening knows. Of course everybody knows. I have a world famous dude sitting in front of me, and that is amazing. And man, first of all, well deserved on that success, because you do an insane amount of work. I can't even. How the fuck? There's you see, I get like dumbfounded and just 100 questions pop up.
Ask away, bro. Ask away.
You stepped back into jiu-jitsu, went for it, and then you saw this possibility of showing it. How did you get? I want to hear it from you.
Okay.
Like, how did you get to that?
So, if it wasn't clear already, I love the sport.
Oh yeah, I noticed a little bit.
Yeah, I love the sport. I love watching it, competing, talking about it, teaching, like every aspect of it. I love it. So I was like, what do I want to do with my life? Yeah, and you should do what you love, right? I think that's if you're good at something, you can help people, and you love it. Like, it doesn't make any sense for me to do anything else. So I knew this, this is what I need to do. This is what I love. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So my question was how can I make this happen? How can I do this for the rest of my life? What are the options? What are the ways to do this? First thing that came into mind was competing, right? I love competing. I'm a competitive guy. I do well. I kick ass. I'm good, etc. But the thing is, coming from the Netherlands, not having the opportunity to train all day, because I have a job. I work full time, 40 hours a week. So that kind of stuff.
That is insane.
Yes.
I'm just getting insaner. Sorry.
And not having I didn't think I had the right resources, environment, etc. to make it on an international level, to compete and to make that my job that way. So I was looking at different ways, like coaching, training, that kind of stuff. So that's the other option. So that was the way I wanted to go about. I want to become a trainer, I want to have my own gym, teach people, all that kind of stuff. So
that's a very realistic and honest way to put it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of delusional people out there.
Yes.
And this is very realistic.
You need to be real with yourself, because if you're not, you need to be true and honest with yourself. If you're not, you're gonna go a different direction. It's gonna fuck up. So I made that conclusion. I need to do something else, and I love it just as much. I can still compete, local tournaments, maybe Europeans, that kind of stuff, just for fun. Just test myself, improve as much as I can. So I'll still do all of this, but my focus is more on that path. So I was asking myself, like, what can I do to achieve this? Yeah. And my idea was like, hey, if I want to teach, if I want to entice people, convince people to learn from me, I need to build my reputation up. Yeah. You can do this by tournaments, you can do it by different stuff. But I thought, hey, I teach all these people in class, they learn stuff from me, they're grateful from learning from me. Why don't I use internet, social media, to reach a lot more people? And that way I build my name. So that was like the idea initially, like, hey, I'm gonna do what I do here every day in the gym, teaching people, but I'll just record it and I'll teach as many people as I can reach on Instagram or whatever. So that was my and my goal with that was to like, I have several goals. I want to grow the sport of jiu-jitsu. I want to make it bigger in the Netherlands, but also worldwide. And I want to help as many people as I can to become better at the sport. Like, those are the goals, like continuous goals, which will never end, of course. So those were the goals in mind. And through doing those two things, through chasing those two goals, I will chase the life I want. I will get the life I want. So that was like my idea. Like, if I focus on that, like, it's a good aim to have, like, helping people growing the sport. And as a result of focusing on that, I will get the life I want. I'll be involved in jiu-jitsu the rest of my life, and everything will come on the journey, let's say. So that was my idea. And I read this book. Do you know Gary V? Gary Vaynerchuk? Yeah, the guy hypes me up, man.
All of us. I mean, yeah, shit.
He hypes me up so much. So
his videos are never calm.
Nope.
Did you ever notice? Like,
nope.
All his videos are like, hey, this guy is on something.
Yes.
At some certain point, they thought this is a cocaine addict that just is really, really
I thought
smart,
the same, man. I thought the same.
Guys, ladies and gentlemen, sniff cocaine to get better at jiu-jitsu. This is the advice I give you. Like, do a line and then roll. You do amazing.
I've never tried that. But I've read his book. It's called Crush It.
Yeah.
And this book basically talks about how to turn your passion into your living, your job. And when I finished that book, man, I was so excited. Like, hey, man, all this knowledge he gave me, he got me so hyped, so inspired. And I thought, okay, man, I'm going to go ahead and start doing this stuff. Something happened. Like, I was delaying starting. Yeah. Like, you always have doubts. Whatever, I'm not good enough, or this and that and that. And then I remember this day, I went to train with Daniel De Groot, who you had on the podcast.
Never heard of him.
You never heard of him?
Never heard of him.
He's okay. He's all right.
Sometimes.
I think he's okay. So I went to train at his gym in Rotterdam, at Unity, Checkmat Rotterdam.
Oh, he's from Checkmat too?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, those guys, they train a lot. They're only good because they train a lot.
Yeah, Brazilians. They're all on steroids.
But that day I got injured. I got a pretty bad injury on my shoulder.
Yeah.
I got injured really badly. I think I was out for 3 months because of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like 3 months I could not do. Well, there was a time where I could roll a bit and then I re-injured it. It was really, really annoying, man.
Oh, ripped or...
I never went to the doctor.
That is, tell me you do jiu-jitsu without telling me you do jiu-jitsu.
I never went to the doctor. But
I broke something, never went to check.
The way it happened is I invert a lot on my right shoulder because I enter leg locks by inversions, and I inverted that day in the training, and then it wasn't feeling good before, but then I did something, I put too much weight on it, and I think something ripped or tore or partially tore. Anyway, it was really fucked up. I went all white. They said like it hurt as a motherfucker. It was so bad. I went all white, sweating, like I went in shock. And those guys there, man, they're so kind. The Checkmat guys, like they're really nice guys. They took care of me. But that day I got injured is the day I started posting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and because I couldn't train, I had a lot of time also. Like I could think about this stuff. Like it took away time from training because I trained a lot to compete, serious. But now I had all this free time just to think about recording techniques, being busy on social media, all the stuff that comes with the Instagram thing and all this stuff. So it opened up a lot of time for me. So in some way, it was a good thing I got injured. So that was the day I started, the 1st of September, and I didn't stop since then, like posting every day.
That's one of the difficulties we have as athletes, injuries. And this story is perfect because it shows that you should not get disheartened because of an injury. Man, it just, maybe it doesn't go your way. You think it doesn't go, like for some reason, like something bad happened. And you're like, oh no, it's an opportunity right there. I mean, like just change your mindset. Keep on the same goal. Crush it.
You know, you know Jocko, right?
Yeah.
He has this...
that insane American soldier or hooligan, whatever he is. Every single time he posts, like he's at 4 o'clock in the morning, I started answering him. I said, go back to bed. Every time he posted, I wait, and then I post back, go back to bed. Like, I know, I'm revolting against that.
Yeah.
Like, at a certain... 5 o'clock was cool. 3:30 in the morning, I was like, it's insane.
It gets earlier and earlier.
No, he's never going to sleep again.
Yeah, he has this clip where he says... when something bad happens, he says good, because there's always something good that comes out of something bad. So I do believe that, like adversity, like something bad, there's always a way for you to twist it into something good. Like you can find a positive.
It's an opportunity.
Yes,
opportunity, definitely. In certain points of my life, after a while, I was seeing like bad things happening as the test. You know, I said, good. Here's a test. Here I can lost in the competition. Good, you learned. This is the test. Let's see how you deal with that, how you deal with losing and stuff like that. So
it's true.
It's amazing, man. Amazing that you got from like being inspiring as well, of course, and getting from that and then growing your Instagram account. Did you ever think it would have been this? No. So you know what my goal was initially? What? I said to myself, my goal was, hey man, and I was like, it's going to be hard. I want 10,000 followers in a year. Oh, well, that went wrong.
I want 10,000 followers in a year, and I was like, man, it's going to be tough, but I think I can do it, man.
No, you didn't reach your goal. You went over.
It took me 2 months, man.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I think it was 2.5 months before I got 10K. Yeah, something like this.
There's a lot of people that say that Instagram and YouTube and social media, it's bad and poisonous. I said, that's because you guys don't know how to use it.
Yes.
If you're every day, every second and every minute, like focusing and changing your life towards that, it's a tool, and it's a good tool, and it's a wonderful tool.
Exactly.
Use it.
Exactly. Like there's a saying, with great power comes great responsibility, right? So if you use it responsibly, you'll have great power. But if you are all the day watching dancing TikTok videos, man, your life's
more like Spider-Man, guys. Take hold of that responsibility.
He was talking about Instagram, I think.
That's the last words of Uncle Ben, as he was.
He was definitely talking about Instagram.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So
how was that? Like in 2 months, when you see the numbers go up, that's...
I'll take you through it, man. So initially when I started, I didn't know what I was going to do, So I did all kinds of things. I posted myself talking about jiu-jitsu questions. I posted longer technique videos. I posted shorter technique videos. So what really worked for me, what I noticed after a while, because I did all kinds of stuff, I was testing everything. I noticed that reels, like the shorter version, they get a lot more reach. They get pushed out a lot more to people. So it was helping me grow faster. But still, like it took like 50 days, like almost 2 months. It took before a video of mine blew up. Even though I was posting every day, I wasn't getting much results, and I was not gonna stop, man. I'll do it for a year without getting results. I was convinced I'm gonna do this every day. I read that book, he hyped me up, man. He said you have to post every day, you have to content, engage with your community. All the tips he gives in his videos, I follow them. Like, hey, I do everything Gary says and it will work out. So I started 1st of September, and almost end of October, one of my videos just blew up. Like I would get maybe a few thousand views every video, but this one like went for 200K or something. It went crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And
how was it like to open up your telephone and there's like a
crazy, man.
Yo, you imagine you having notifications set wrong and your phone is just
I turned off my notifications that day.
Man, imagine your phone having a heart attack. That's it.
Yeah, I turned off my notifications because it's crazy. Still is. I can show you like every minute I get 10 notifications. Like that's,
oh my God,
yeah, that's how it goes. So they keep coming. But after I blew up that one, I just kept doing what I was doing and rode that momentum, and it just went harder and harder and harder. And I kept working, kept doing new things, new techniques, engaging with people, talking to people who comment, DMs. Like, it takes a lot of time. Like, the busiest part, the most time-consuming part of everything is engaging with people, like your community, your people who DM you, comment, that kind of stuff. That's what takes the most time. But I love it. Like, I love every part of it. So
the moment you found your thing, which was the reels and showing that technique,
yes,
right, and the reason you wanted to do it was to grow yourself. But at this point, I mean, you're also teaching.
Oh, yes.
And how does that feel to be the teacher of so many?
Yeah. So you mean the teacher of so many people on Instagram? Look, I try not to think about it like too crazy, you know? I just try to stay as humble as I can. Like, you have all these people online saying all these compliments to you. Like, you get haters, of course, but you get also a lot of positive,
a lot of love.
A lot of love. You get a lot of love. And I told myself, hey man, this is gonna come your way. Try not to think you're something special. Try not to think like these are your fans or whatever. Just be grateful for everything. I remind myself every day, hey, these people want to see your stuff. They want to comment. Like, be grateful for everyone. Just keep that in mind, that you're nothing special, that you're just doing this because you love it. And that's how I treat that aspect of it. Same with haters. Like, I don't care if they say your technique sucks. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I know who I am. I know what I do. I try to be truthful in everything. So whatever anyone thinks, they don't know me better than I know myself. So it doesn't bother me at all.
Perfect mindset.
Yeah, right.
Perfect mindset. Come
just
on.
You gotta stay true to yourself and whatever anyone else says.
I think the hardest part is not letting, and it doesn't, like, from talking to you and seeing you, and like from the moment I met you, super nice and humble guy, and that's, I think the hardest part is not letting the haters get to you, but letting like the good stuff get to you, that you that you change your actual vision on life and go like, you know, it's, of course you should congratulate yourself. I mean, you're doing good work, amazing work, and consistent work, which is amazing. How do you choose what you're going to do? How do you choose which is a good technique? Do you follow a pattern, or is it more like, oh my God, I feel like this is the one. This is what I'm going to show.
So it's a challenge for sure. Like, if you're going to post something every day and you need to think of new techniques.
I saw that there was like 700 reels or something like that. I might have it wrong.
I have 200 something, 70, I think, from the top of my head. 270 something posts. Not all of them are reels. Some of them are reposts also. Sometimes I repost old material.
Still, that's an insane amount of things.
Yes.
And you're keeping it up every single day.
Every day. I don't skip.
Is it daunting to look at the fact that, look, there's like every single day, that's 365 days a week. That's 365 different techniques.
So I repost, like I said, something is 2-3 months old, I will repost, because I gained like 20,000 followers in that time. So I just post a new one. They didn't see it before, so I do that a lot. The thing is, it's quite easy to come up with these techniques. It's not a trouble at all for me. Like, I'm involved with this sport every day of my life. Like, I think about it, I watch things. So I could just think of a technique right now to record if I needed to. You know, that's it's not a problem for me to think of ideas. Whether it's a good idea always, I don't know. But I also try to use outside sources, like my coach will show something that day. Like I will say, hey man, can I record this technique? Yeah, sure. Can you show me some few details? I'll ask some details like, hey, how do you do this, or what did you do there? Or someone else from the gym shows me a technique. Like I had a white belt show me a TP choke. Like, man, that changed my game, bro. A white belt showed me a TP choke. He's been training a few months. He saw some Russian guy show it on YouTube, and he showed me this TP choke move, and I'm like, okay, he did it on me, and I was like, man, this works.
From triangle?
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's such a good choke, man. Yeah. It works so good for me against bigger guys. Like when I can't close a triangle, I TP them and they tap, and it works so well.
I don't spend any more energy in triangles. I close it up, you don't tap, TP you.
TP.
No, or fist in throat, you know.
I need to learn that one for my next video. No, but like you get all these outside sources, like you have all these people around you who show things. Also, I'm watching content. Like I saw someone do a move. I like to the material I watch mostly. I don't like to watch instructionals too much. I like to watch competition footage.
Oh man, this is so much things in common. Like, look, I don't have the patience for instructionals. And if John Danaher and his goofy ass starts talking in that way, he's an amazing teacher. I don't take that away from him. He's a very intelligent genius man.
Yep.
But I cannot find a single person in this world that can sit down and actually listen to what he is saying. Look at Joe Rogan. Look, what do you see? What do you see? Do you see it?
He was stressing out, that Joe.
Man, I was like,
I'd be stressed out too.
I watched his video in 1.5 speed.
Yeah, you should. I was talking with Marcelo from Browse. I was talking with him about John Danaher on the way here.
Also, never heard of that dude.
He's great. Shout out to Marcelo.
Yeah, shout out.
So where were we?
We talked about John Danaher, and you were talking to Marcelo.
Okay, so ideas for techniques, you get them from everywhere, like instructionals, competition footage. So I like to watch fights, and then I'll see something, and then I'll just think, hey, how can I record this into a technique? Or I'll just be rolling with someone, and I'll hit a move, and I'm like, oh man, I should make a video about this move. Like, why didn't I think of this before? So that's generally how I think of content, how I come up with ideas.
And one of the things that I think is very intelligent, and the longer I do it, it's the more simple jiu-jitsu gets, I guess, in a way. The more like not no name given position kind of thing it gets. Like there's not the specific set of moves I do. It's just all flowy somehow. Like I'll fall back into my old drilled techniques, like whenever I get into trouble. But there is such an expanse and such an infinity of things that
never ends.
One of the things that you just said, like the white belts, like showed you the TP choke. Man, white belts teach me every single day. They do so many. They teach me what not to do a lot, and they teach me a lot also about things. They do things that go into that fits their body type or their idea of what is right. And sometimes they do stuff that I'm like, I'll ask them, like, can you do that exactly the same way again? And they're like, no, it's lost forever. Deal with it.
Yeah, we have a few of these. I'm thinking of one guy specific from my gym. Like, he will look up the craziest thing. He should be focusing on other things, but he'll look up the craziest techniques.
Call him out right now.
Alex, I'm talking about you, man. I hope you're listening.
Okay. Learn how to shrimp, dude. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it would be good if you listen more instead of listening to YouTube. But oh well, like if it's fun for him, yeah, exactly. If it makes you happy, yeah.
Alex, come on,
good guy,
good guy. But yeah, with the white belts, I love it. I love training with them too. Most injuries I got was from them.
Oh man.
So many elbows, so many knees.
Oh man. Like I'm sparring with a white belt and they're already like moving left, right, like really intensely, and I'm like telling them, hey man, calm down, please don't injure me. You know, I have to remind them. Happens quite a lot. Because they will move in unpredictable ways because they want to win so bad and they don't know what they're doing. Yeah. And they don't mean it bad, they just want to win. So that's how a lot of injuries happen. I feel you. I feel them, all of them coming up right now. Yep. That's what I told people. Like, white belts aren't people yet. They haven't learned how to be people yet. I heard this last night.
They'll get there. Beautiful, man. And what's the future for you in jiu-jitsu? In the sense of like, where are you going? Are you going up to black belt? Doesn't it matter or at all? Do you care if you have a belt or not? Do you care?
About the belts, I'm not worried about that. Like, this is something that will happen. Like, eventually you'll get your black belt.
Thank you
Right?
so much. Everybody listening, stop focusing on the belt stuff.
Yeah.
It'll get there.
Exactly.
You'll get it when you get it.
If you're planning to do this for the rest of your life, you will get the black belt. Like, it's not something I worry about. I actually like being a purple belt, which is really good.
Best color there is, too, I think.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, but it's like sometimes surprises people. Like, oh, you're a purple belt? I thought you were brown or black or whatever. So I like that.
Brown is the ugliest color. I won't say why.
I like that compliment. Yeah, so eventually the black belt will happen. And what else do I... I'm not focused on belts. I'm focused on the goals, which I mentioned earlier. I want to have my own gym. I want to... Daniel is a good example. He's someone I look up to. Like, I listened to the podcast of you and Daniel last time. It was really inspiring for me. Like, the way he talks about how much he teaches, the seminars he does. He has his own gym, checkmat. Like, I look up to that. Like, hey man, this is something which I want to achieve as well. So it's great to have such a guy.
He made it into his life.
Yeah.
That's a courageous thing, man.
Yeah.
I think what you're doing is also really courageous, honestly.
Yeah.
Society doesn't like support, approve, acknowledge, or know that it actually integrated. It's starting to grow more and more.
Oh, yes.
But not like, oh, I'm going to live off of this.
Oh, yes. I think this is the start of these things being possible with... the thing is, like social media, all these things, they gave you so much reach, so much leverage. Like, you can have so much people following you. I can make courses. I can reach 80,000 people. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So this gives you all kinds of opportunities which you didn't have before. Like, this age, I think this is the age where people are able to do what they love. And if they're good at it and they can reach a lot of people with it, they can make careers for themselves which aren't traditional. Like going to an office, etc., this and that. I think now that's the power of internet, right?
Yes,
so
definitely.
Yeah, so I think that's
you can really deepen yourself in the thing that you love, and that's a blessing in all kinds of ways, man. I love it. I think all these... I love the fact that the most people that I get here are usually drawn by the fact that we have the same goals. Like you said, like you want to reach out to people, you want to grow the community and stuff like that. This is what we're doing right now.
Right.
The thing that I wanted to grow this community more. I wanted to have more jiu-jitsu in the Netherlands. I wanted to unify every single team, and I'm still gonna work on that one. I think that's a good thing to have. You
mean in the Netherlands itself? You want to like connect everyone? I think that's a good thing.
Because I'm not thinking in like a team in Netherlands versus a team in Netherlands. I'm thinking about the Netherlands versus the world.
Exactly.
Like, I want
everybody.
Right. That's why I share information for free. That's why if somebody trains with me, I come over. You're always welcome to train. Yes. You're always welcome to join our trainings. Because I want that connection. And that's why I wanted to talk to as many people that do jiu-jitsu and live jiu-jitsu as much as possible. Because if they hear from you and they get the person behind that, they know, like, you warm up. You warm up to the human, you know, and then you start getting more people around you, more training and more invites to do open mats, and that's what I inspire to do.
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job. Like
you too, man. You're like we're on the same thing.
Exactly,
we're on the same road.
I wish more people had that kind of mindset. Like a lot of people see like threats. Someone's success is threatening mine, but I think instead, like, everyone, like especially in the Netherlands, should like come together, organize stuff, train together, connect with each other. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the fastest, best way to grow the sport. Like, unify some way, like help each other, host seminars or all kinds of stuff that way.
tell about each other's work. That's one
Exactly.
of the things, you know, like it's not me versus you or my team versus you. No, I wish you all the success in the world.
Exactly.
Man, get bigger, get stronger, get better. Like,
Because you're gonna benefit from their success as well. If the sport grows, like it's also in your best interest.
yeah, it's one of the things I believe. We're not competing anymore. We're working together towards that one goal, which is like,
Mm-hmm.
man, a unified jiu-jitsu team in the Netherlands,
Yeah, man.
going out there killing people. Daniel showed it's possible that you can go to Brazil and kick ass over there. Like,
Yeah, he showed also he can do really well in ADCC. Like
he can do really well.
he got top 4 last time, and now he's going to compete again. So
man, I'm excited to see what's gonna. I'm excited to see what everybody's going to do soon.
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah,
it's gonna be great. It's good to find somebody with the same goals in mind, man.
Oh yeah,
It's always inspiring.
yeah, for sure.
Great stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment within the podcast where I call it a pee break.
Mm-hmm.
Other people call it just lazy editing. I don't care about you. That's one of the things I want you to know. That I love that you listen, but I don't care. But this is also a moment for our sponsors. And in the past, I didn't have any sponsors because I wasn't ready for that type of commitment in my life. You know, I've had people come and go, so I wasn't ready to sit down and actually talk with sponsors in any kind of way. But on the horizon, suddenly out of the ground from Australia came bubbling up Browse, and I've contacted them. So there's a nice little partnership going on right there.
Nice.
And it's going to grow and it's going to be beautiful. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Thank you very much, everybody. Go pee. Go enjoy something. Have a cookie. You listened up till now. You deserve it. I can't get enough of it.
Yep.
I can't get enough of it. But yeah, that's one of the things. Sponsorship, man. Well, let's get that out of the way. Not out of the way. It's not a bad thing. I mean, Browse. I think Browse got us together. So, but let me tell you, the first mention I had of you was online, of course. But the first person that came to me and said, like, you should talk to this dude, it was Daniel.
Really?
Yeah, man. Bunda Branca.
Nice guy.
Great guy. And then Browse, Marcelo. I call him Marcelo Browse. Is the one that actually said, like, here's his number, talk to him too, and something like that. And he's doing amazing work here.
Yeah.
Also,
he hit me up like, man, I know this guy, Julio. He does a podcast, Cauliflower podcast. You want to do it? And I didn't have to think twice. I was like, yes, let's do it. Give him my number and let's set it up. So
that's how it worked out, man.
it all worked out.
Shit, that's amazing.
It's good to know people, you know?
Networking is everything in life.
Yeah,
it's everything. Communication.
Exactly.
It's all of it. And you got you're sponsored by them, you got their stuff and everything like that, man. Is that your first one?
Yes. I've been offered also other sponsors. Declined them because I wanted to keep the options open. And well, with Marcelo, because I know him personally, it was a much easier decision. Like, I know him personally. We talked, we trained. So for me, it was a no-brainer.
It's almost essential for us that are athletes to have something like that, or else you're going to have to like really work so hard next to it and then do your sport, and then one of the two is going to suffer from it, you know. So it's sponsors are our lifeblood, and honestly, if you decide to sponsor an athlete, whoever you are, wherever you are, do it, because it is like, it changes a human's life and it makes us able to deepen ourselves in what we're doing.
Yeah,
and,
it's good for the sponsor too.
Yes, or just walk up to us in the middle of the street and give us money. I mean, we're there. I will not be at all in any moment make it awkward. I'll just receive the money, give you a hug, and keep it. So walk up to me, walk up to Azzi. Just put 20 euros in our hands. 50.
Yeah. I won't mind. I promise.
100. God will pay you back.
I'll teach you leg locks on the spot.
On the spot. On the.
Some details.
Did you ever have to do anything on the streets or never?
On the streets? You mean like in a fight? Like,
yeah.
Since I started training, no.
Really?
I never had to use jiu-jitsu in a fight since I started training.
That's funny, right?
Yeah, like once you know, you you don't need it.
Yeah.
Wish I knew this when I was 12, man.
Yeah. Getting into fights every week.
No, I don't think I know.
It's a funny thing that's it happens to people a lot, and that is once they start training it, the necessity of using it and actually being in situations where you're going to use it diminishes greatly. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think there are many reasons, but one reason is when you start training, you become more humble. You're not insecure as much.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people who look for fights on the streets are like insecure,
Yeah.
like unnecessary. Like, why would you fight on the street? Like, who are you helping? Like, unless it's self-defense, of course.
Yeah.
But there's almost never a reason to fight. Like, a lot of fights happen because someone initiates it and they're insecure, they don't know how to fight. So once you go to a gym and you get your ass kicked 100 times, you're like, hey man, I'm good, man. I'm fine.
I don't need this to happen to me in the streets as well.
Yeah, and maybe also people like sense you're not to be messed with, you know, you're not to be fucked with, because they see your big ass ears and shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna fight with that guy.
The ears are that giveaway,
Yeah.
man. Like I did you know that in Brazil that white belts were getting, well, at one point, happily they stopped because it's insane. They were on purpose getting those ears.
Oh yeah, Chechens also do this.
Really?
Yeah, they beat their ears with a hammer or something. Yeah.
Why? There's a trick
It's
out
cool.
there for all the white belts that want to do it. So you grab your belt, you put it around your head against your ears, and then you just rub really hard. I saw the white belts do that, break their ears in horrible ways, and then walk around like they're pit bulls.
Damn, I can't believe people actually do it on purpose to get those ears, man. Like,
Earn it.
yeah, exactly.
Earn
Like,
it.
it's gonna happen if you train long enough. Like,
Man, it happens.
just go for it.
I have soft ears, so I never get them.
Oh, really?
I got them a couple of times, but then I injected them out,
Mhm.
did it to myself too in the mirror, like just pulled out all that blood. So they turned out a little bit normal.
What do you think of them? Do you think they're ugly? Okay, you don't care?
I love them. I actually think they're cool looking.
Same. Like,
Yeah.
when I started, I was...
Men should
no.
have beards, cauliflower ears, and one scar.
Yeah.
A visible one.
Yeah. Like at first, when I started, I never want this, but after a while, I'm like, man, I kind of want it. Like,
You right?
yeah, like,
Yeah,
it's okay.
it's a good thing. I took them out because they literally were not letting me sleep.
Oh,
So it was like I was laying down and I was like, I can't sleep. And
damn,
then
it hurt.
I got the internal one too. I got the internal one and the one on the inside, and I was like, no.
Mm.
And when people ask me, "Yo, you don't have them, and did you take them out?" Or something like that, I said, "Nope, I'm good at jiu-jitsu. That's why I don't."
we have a one of the coaches at Team De Jager with me is Dennis,
Mm-hmm.
and when he started training, after a few months already, after 5-6 months, I think he already had both his ears fully blown up, like, you know, Habib.
Oh my God.
Not as bad as Habib, but they were already big, and he was still a white belt. People joking now you can't stop training, like.
That's it. This is your
No.
your forever commitment.
Yeah, now you need to get the skills to match those ears.
It's also a shame for earbuds, like earplugs and stuff like that. You're done. That's life is over.
I should ask how he does it. I don't know if he wears earbuds.
Never.
No,
Probably.
not.
It doesn't fit anymore.
No.
It just doesn't go in. You lose
Yeah.
them every single. Yeah. I see so many guys. They just gave up and bought headphones.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Part of the struggle. I love it.
Makes sense.
But this is one of the things that I do believe, that it looks manly, it looks awesome, and it looks tough, and it should exist. And I think we're losing a little bit on manly culture lately.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Right?
Society
You have
is
that feeling
changing.
too?
Sorry?
You have that feeling too?
It's not a feeling. I think it's a fact. Like,
Was
men are becoming less manly.
Mhm.
I think, like, terms like toxic masculinity, those things don't help. Like,
It doesn't exist, guys. Stop it. Toxic masculinity is
Yeah.
a myth.
It doesn't help. It only, yeah. I think society is shifting in that regard, especially in the West. I don't know so much about other places, but like in the Netherlands, in the West, it is shifting, and men are becoming less men than they were before.
I asked this also because in the beginning of the story, you were like,
Yeah.
Chechnyan.
Oh, that's totally different story.
Yeah.
Those are still men.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
you came up with a whole culture of like a definition of what is manly, you know? And,
Yeah.
And then when you come, I've noticed, I'm not trying to talk down men here in the Netherlands. That's one of the things I'm not trying to do. What I'm trying to do is combat that wave of not being manly or not being able to show or having the opportunity to be a man. That's something that's being killed off, and I think that's a shame.
Yeah. I think many things that were considered manly before, like being competitive, all that kind of stuff is like becoming more frowned upon.
Yeah.
Like people want to be, how to say? People want to eliminate that type of energy, that type of person in the West. They want everyone to be more compassionate, that kind of thing.
But compassion in itself is good. The thing that I think is bad is like taking away man's natural desire to be aggressive. And if you kind of make that, let them internalize that, I think it's worse. It's not aggression in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
It's aggression that is naturally occurs to us, I think. You know when, I'll give you an example. You know when you're competing or you're sparring with somebody and somebody catches you or turns your switch on into kill mode, that aggression? Yeah. Like you don't foster a hate towards that person. Yeah. It just turns on that little button, and that little button they're trying to kill off, and I think that's a shame.
I don't know how true this is, but I also read like the testosterone levels of men have decreased by 50% since something in 1960 or something like that.
Absolutely, man. Crazy. Hey, data has come out. It's like, you vegans. Well, that was one of the reasons, but I think it's also the chemicals and shit that people are eating, and the life they're living, and it's bringing it down. And I wanted to mention, because you're literally living the manly life, training martial arts, creating space, as in creating room for other people to grow in. It's the manliest shit there is. Come on, I mean, you're creating a community and building a business and an empire, and that creates room for others. And I don't know. Do you have any ideas on how we should combat that? Should I say?
I think, if I would make a guess, I think it's a change in our values as people. The change in our values changes the way society is, and it changes how we are. Like the traditional values, like a man is the top of the household, providing for the female, who's taking care of the kids. That's gone. Like in the West, not entirely gone, but you see it less and less. Everyone's more equal. I think going away from those traditional values, you create a different type of society, and men are no longer needed in the way they were needed before. So they play a different role now, and I think this is a big change which happened over the last few decades. It's a gradual change, which is going
step by step,
and men are not needed in the same way as they were before, and I think a lot of men are kind of lost because of that.
Yeah, don't have a specific direction.
Men want responsibility. Men want to take care of, most men, I think, if they can, they want to take care of a female, they want to take care of the family, their kids, they want to provide, they want to grow. That's what they really want. Now, society is shifting in a way that men are no longer supposed to have that role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now females are equal in that sense. Like they do the same things that men did before. And I think that's the shift in society. That's why men are becoming less like they were before.
It's one of the things I bring this up because I believe that we all have a post in life. So I believe that we as humans have a purpose in life, or we have and I see it like this: if we have a kingdom, every single one of us has a tower to defend, and our tower is our tower to defend. And one of the things that was getting me was I was watching the news, and every single commercial that came up was either for women, and if a man showed up, he was fat, he was old, he was dumb, and he was like a joke, and he wasn't truly a father figure in any kind of way. You know, he was like that lazy kind of existence, and that pissed me off. I don't know why that got to me. Then I started looking around me, and then I noticed it. I said, this is not at all like in the gym where I'm growing, or when I'm walking around with killers constantly. Yeah. And that aggressive man energy the whole time, that keeps me alive, man. Yeah. It's like, do I want to be in that energy constantly? No, definitely not. Nobody does. We want peace too. Yeah. But it feels good to stand there, you know, and be able to...
Yeah, like, I think it's kind of sad that a lot of men are not like they used to be, and I think it's not good for anyone. Like,
it's killing off like all of society.
Like, eventually, I think you'll see the big downsides to this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but there'll you know the saying, like, how does it go? Soft men make hard times, whatever, that cycle.
Yeah. Hard men make good times.
Eventually hard times will come and we will need strong men, and they won't be there.
Hard men make good times
Yes.
make soft men make hard times.
Yes.
That's the one.
Yes, eventually we will need strong men again, and people will need to rise up.
The hard times are, I think we're in it. That's why
I think we've created the soft men, and now we're going to go into the hard times period.
It's coming, right?
Yeah,
I think we can all feel that
yeah.
a little bit. It's a shame, but I'm ready.
It's a cycle. I guess we'll get out of it again.
We'll cycle out of it.
That's
our job, right? That's our job. Next generation, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
My kids are gonna be tough. My kids are gonna be tough.
Yep.
Man, I see it happening a lot in the Western world, but I'll give you one thing that's surprising to me, because in the Netherlands, these are, like, historically speaking, they're OGs. They were some crazy guys here, you know, and that's out of, like, if I go to a simple past, then we have the kickboxing history. Those are all animals. Like, how many animals came out of that? And if we go, like, further back, there's a little thing I wanted to talk about in the history of the Netherlands, and this is like 1600s. They used to have it's called bekkensnijden.
Bekkensnijden, okay.
So what it was like, men would challenge each other to cut their faces with sharp spoons, basically.
Yes.
They didn't have a point, so they wouldn't be able to kill each other. But the idea was, like, to cut each other's faces, and the guy with the most scars was the most attractive dude walking around.
I've seen pictures of these guys with scars on their cheeks.
Yes.
I've seen. I think also Germans did it.
Yes.
I think I saw a picture of this. I don't remember where I saw it. Someone showed me, but yeah, I've heard of this, man. Yeah, crazy.
That's some crazy stuff.
That's crazy.
Right there. That's where we. That's what our ancestors used to play with, and I'm not saying that was a good game or very healthy.
Bring back bekkensnijden. Political poster.
Oh my God, that's going to be my slogan for the next coming months. Bring back bekkensnijden.
Teach it at your gym, man.
Man. Take a sharp spoon and let's see who can fuck each other up more.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know, but these kind of little. I'm not saying it's a healthy game, but something in that spirit, if that brings back into the values.
I think jiu-jitsu is a good start. Like,
that comes back to it.
It helps men become more confident. It helps men get in touch with their competitive side. That's why I like people who compete. Like, I like people who compete, who have that drive. I think it's an admirable trait, like, to be able to risk your how do you say, you don't really risk much, but you risk the chance to lose, you know, so that's a risk, and I think that's admirable, and I think it's natural for men to have it, and if you don't have it, I think it's a bit strange.
There's no salt to it, I guess. There's no taste.
Yeah.
Is that the best way I can kind of metaphor it in a way?
Yeah, like I don't think everyone should have the same goals. Like, if you don't want to compete, you don't need to go to competitions. But are you competitive in the gym at least? Do you want to win? Is that important to you? Does it matter if you tap someone or not? I think you need some type of internal drive like that. I think most people have it, but I see it less and less.
It's less and less. Or they're letting it, they're not accepting that it exists, maybe.
Yeah, like, society is now like, hey, it's not about winning, it's about participating. You know, like, you have these 8th place trophies, like everyone gets a trophy, like those kind of things.
It's not real. If you have one at home, melt it down.
Yeah.
Melt it down.
Yeah.
Throw it away or something like that. It's
Yeah, so I think that's something that jiu-jitsu helps people with, like get in touch with that side.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know that this kind of conversation doesn't make friends on the internet, but I never liked you guys. So
We're not in the business of making friends.
we're not in the business of making friends. Oh my God. Another quote to hold on to.
Put it on a t-shirt.
I'm going to make a little post. We're not in the business of making friends.
Nice.
Which you have not made many lately.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I was setting this transition up for a moment now.
That was amazing, man. Smooth. Nope.
No, you have been in a couple of awards yourself.
Yeah, man. I won very recently also.
Which, just taking a step back, you said like having suddenly so many people contact you and telling you you're doing good work, and also having this many people like talking shit to you, because there is, and on the internet everybody is a warrior and courageous as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
So many tough guys there.
Oh shit. You must have read the horrible shit already.
Oh man, I've read so much shit about me. So you're probably referring to the Reddit.
Yes,
Reddit
I saw the Reddit,
yeah.
and I looked up a little bit of stuff on Reddit, and I was like, it was 10 minutes on Reddit, and I said,
oh yeah,
this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn this off.
So how do we start? Let's start by saying, hey, I knew like eventually if you're gonna grow, you're gonna get people who criticize you. Nothing surprises me. Like I was ready for this. Everything's fine. It doesn't bother me. I don't care if someone says, hey, your technique doesn't work or stuff. Like, it's annoying, like, if you hear it a lot of times, and if sometimes I'll say something of it, like, if I feel it's necessary, but it doesn't get under my skin. It doesn't stop me from posting. Like, I could handle everything. And I'm kind of happy that stuff with Reddit happened, honestly. I'll tell you why. It gave me a chance to address everything. It gave me a chance to address everything, like to show people, like, hey, if you're going to question me, my integrity, because they were lying about stuff, yeah? I'll get into that later. So they were questioning my integrity. They were saying I was buying upvotes, followers. They were saying I was stealing techniques. So the fact that they were doing this, I did not shy away from it. I just posted it on my story, like, look at these guys. Here's my answer to it. I'm not going to shy away from this. If someone attacks me, my credibility, my integrity, I'll just attack you back or defend myself. So that gave me a good chance, and I feel stronger after that. Like, I feel like...
I ask this because there's always the doubt. Like, should you give answer to that? Should you give time to it or not? And I'm on both ends of the spectrum, because on one side I'm like, ignore it, which I personally probably can't. If somebody talks shit and I don't disagree, I will go into discussion with you. And the other part of me is like, is it worth doing it? And you're saying like you came out of it better. 100%,
no doubt. I cannot ignore when someone says you're buying followers. And when someone says it like in a comment, like maybe I'll ignore it. But this guy, he made a thread. He made a topic on Reddit, which got upvoted by all the other haters. It went to the top personally about me writing towards the mods a message why I should be banned from that place. Can you imagine?
God,
and
you have your own personal nemesis. I love it.
And I know this guy because he's commenting on every fucking video. Every fucking video I post, he's commenting something negative, personal stuff. Like I just ignore the guy or write something funny or sarcastic. I do that all the time. I never thought he would make like a thread, a topic. So important I am to him. Understand? So when someone does this, like instantly I think, man, this guy is a loser. Like he took time from his day to write this shit about me. Like I don't care about this guy. Like what's the point? I'm bothering him that much by posting 10-second video every day that gets to the top of Reddit. Anyway, so I think you lose by default just by posting something about me. I shared everything. I feel stronger after that. I got so much support in email, in DMs, whatever. And I think I wanted to show also, I share this because I wanted to show what's this bullshit going on Reddit. And now everyone knows, like, hey, these are the type of people that comment on that place. I think Gordon Ryan, like 2 days ago or yesterday, he also posted the same shit about like what's this miserable place about Reddit. So it's
which is, by the way, one of another. Usually for jiu-jitsu, the biggest communities is Instagram, and Reddit was the next up.
500,000 people there.
There you go.
Yeah,
that are like following, checking, knowing, talking to each other, creating groups. You know, the idea is awesome, but man, that group is shit to be in.
Oh man, like I got so many messages from people like, yeah, I know this place sucks, blah blah blah. So what I was doing there, exactly the same like I'm doing on Instagram or anywhere else, just posting one video per day. My videos get voted to the top because they have this upvote, downvote system. They float to the top. So people are upvoting these things. They want to see them. But in the comment sections, the majority at Reddit only, so not on other platforms, they're negative. So they say bullshit, all kinds of bullshit, yeah. So you probably read it, right? The topic, like that kind of shit. And it's been going on for months. Like,
oh my God.
Not as bad as that topic, but in general, like every video gets these negative comments. I didn't care. Like, hey man, you guys upvote me to the top, whatever, your comment I don't give a shit. Like you can comment everything. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like I can handle that. So all these videos are getting upvoted. And in the past weeks, I was being more cocky. Yeah. Like when they say something, I'm just being my funny self, like replying in a cocky way, and it made him even more mad, I think. So
how dare he respond to me? Yeah, how dare I want to talk about him and not hear anything about him.
Exactly. They just want me to stop because that's why they're being abusive in the comments, but I don't care. Like I'm just gonna continue, and that's what that caused them to make that topic about me, and I'm really happy they did because I think it all worked out pretty well.
Getting into the mind of the hater, if it's possible. Why would you think that they would have something against you? Is there somewhere where we can put ourselves in their shoes and go like, I love conflict resolution in an intelligent way, you know, like it's rational. But is there something in you going like, okay, my work does this aspect on it, and this is a discussable aspect upon it?
Yes. So, of course, I look at things from different perspectives. Yes. You need to do that. You need to reflect. If you're getting a lot of hate, you need to ask yourself, why? Why am I getting this hate? So, I post techniques every day, yeah? I cannot post an armbar from close guard every day. It gets boring, yeah? So I post techniques that are flashy, fancy. Let me think of an example. I can't think of an example now, but some of my techniques are like, I don't know, an Imanari roll, like, or
you had some
spinning shit. It doesn't work as well. Or a buggy choke is a good example. Yeah. It doesn't work most of the time for most people. It's a low percentage technique. And you could say that about a lot of techniques. But I post them because they do work in some cases, in some circumstances. I do not feel bad about posting it. I think it's a part of jiu-jitsu, low percentage techniques. I have fun doing them. People have fun learning them. It can teach you things if you drill it, even though you don't hit it. Like they teach you movements, like inversions, all kinds of stuff. So their criticism, the only criticism that I find valid from their point of view is this technique doesn't work all the time, high level, that kind of shit. Or look, I'm not perfect, I make mistakes too. Maybe I forget a detail. So those kind of criticisms, they're fine. I can understand them. I understand that perspective. But the way Reddit is set up, the way the people, do you know about this? Do you know about Reddit?
Yeah.
They have this upvote, downvote system, also for comments. So the people in those comment sections, whenever they say something hateful, they get upvoted by other people who are hating. Yeah. And they get points, and they can do things with those points. I don't care about it. I don't know anything about it, but that's what drives.
The system on Reddit is super interesting.
Yeah.
It is. It's a cool concept. Yeah. Let's say it like that. But
like, they would downvote me for whatever I say. Like, it doesn't matter if I say something positive, they click me down for button, and everything hateful gets upvoted. Like they group together, and they know me because I'm posting every day. And the comments that are hateful get to the top, the comments that are negative get drowned to the bottom, And if you continue this for months and months and months, and people already recognize you, let's say something hateful, I get upvoted, that promotes the kind of hate that I've been seeing. Compared to all the other platforms I post who don't have the system, it's a completely different story. So that's why Reddit is different from other platforms.
So every single time somebody sees you there, everybody's going to try to be a comedian. And try to post.
I get regulars, man. I know these guys. I know the regulars who are hating on me, man.
That's what you guys are, your clients at this point.
Yeah, and I don't mind hate, man. It's okay. It's fine. It's like people message me like, hey, man, this means you're successful. Like,
that is the truth.
So they can hate. It doesn't bother me. I never stop.
The next step is that you're starting to get like fake accounts that are just like yours.
Oh yeah,
that's the next step, I think.
Maybe, but the only thing that bothered me is that they lie. Like that's why I really had to say something. They're lying about me buying upvotes, buying followers. I don't do that. Never did it. Never will. That bothers me. So if I don't say anything, maybe people will think I'm doing this stuff. So I had to make it clear, like, hey man, this is not what I do. And if just to make clear, if anyone has any criticism in the future, sure, but they know I'll be able to answer it.
I think that they also fantabulously done. Like if you treat it in that way, it's fantastic. It's also an example for everybody that, and I hope that a lot of people like follow in these steps, and truly true. If you get hate, like, and you said you feel better dealing with it and addressing the problem and going like, look, this isn't the case, right? And something like that. And then from there on the discussion continues, but positions have been established, and that's very important. If I were to, I think they don't understand the essence of what you're doing, which is, let me say how I look at your Instagram, and when I see your comment, I said, I don't look at it, okay, this technique, if I do it exactly like this, it's going to work in a competition. No, look, we have to compete more to understand this, like buggy choke, all these kind of things. Do they work? Yeah. Basically, any technique could work if you like try it hard enough and you set it up right. You can get anything, even at high level competition. Like look at the Waterloo brothers buggy choking people in like high level competition. It works. But what you should see it as, and what I see it as, you whoever is listening, you can see it as however you want. But how I see it as inspiration. If something from you comes up, it reminds me, oh yeah, and this is how I can get to it, and this is how I can work for it, and these are the details that I see him doing, and these are the details that I established and back in towards my game. Uses as a fountain of inspiration to, as a teacher, to determine what I'm going to teach that month, week, day. Or if one of my students asks, yo, how does inverted buggy choke with loop, I don't know, inversion shit happens, because they all ask these questions. And I'm like, okay, this is how it works. And if you have really short legs, this is why you shouldn't do it. Especially on me.
It's not for everyone.
I'll tell anybody right now. I'll smash you. I'll pick you up and slam you. Stop it. Don't buggy choke me. No, I'm joking. But this is what I use it for. And this is my inspiration that I get out of it. It's like, if I see you doing something and I'm like, wow, that is amazingly cool. How do I get to there? I'll teach it. I'll show it. I'll try it in, because it's fun. Yep. That's the whole idea. Like, keep it fun, guys.
I think it's exactly well said. Also, people don't seem to understand, like, it's a 10-second video. Like, I cannot explain all the details. I cannot show. It's not an instructional course. You know what I mean? I think it helps grow jiu-jitsu. It reaches a lot of people. A lot of people are doing the same now.
It helps you grow your mind. Dear God, so you don't keep on the same techniques like always, like grow.
Yeah, and the hate for it, like, you can have constructive feedback, like, hey man, I think you should have done this move this way. Hey, here's a detail which is better. I get it all the time. I like it. I appreciate it. It helps me improve. But just hating, lying, making shit up, you can only do this if you're miserable. You know what I mean? If you're in a positive mindset, that will never cross your mind, like, to do something like this. So that's another reason why I can't even take it seriously. Like, I know these people, This guy who made that topic, I know he's fucking miserable about me. Like, every post he comments, he writes paragraphs.
There's pictures of you on his bedroom door.
I bet, man. Like, I just know he's miserable, and you can have, like, empathy for him. Like, okay, he's just sad, though, and that's all you can have, man. Like, other than that, like, it doesn't matter.
Bother you anymore.
Nope.
As it should. As it shouldn't.
And everyone who's like doing reels now and they will grow later, just get used to it. Like my advice would be like, just get used to it and don't care about what they say, because maybe it bothers you, maybe it doesn't. I don't know those people. I cannot see how it affects them, but it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Like, people who have sense will see like what makes sense or not. They won't listen to this jackass saying some bullshit. Like, that's the thing.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
You were mentioning for people trying to grow their stuff. This is where I want to get tips. Man, you got to this point, man, working this hard, trying, getting there, doing it, actually reaching a nice level where you can probably future-wise definitely monetize what you're doing so that you can keep doing what you're doing, which is what I imagine being the plan.
Yes.
So why not hear from somebody that is like trailblazing the way into this?
Happily,
especially here in the Netherlands. I mean, let's say we have a kid, fresh purple belt, just got it. Just the belt's still crispy, you know, it still stands straight like that, like fresh. And he says like, I want to live off of this. I want to make money out of this. I love this sport. I want to grow it. What do you say?
All right. So I've helped quite a lot of people with this.
Yeah.
So I'll happily share what I think is important if you want to succeed in doing the things I do. On the top of the list, like the number one thing I tell people is that you need to be consistent. Yeah. So you need to post every day. Like, you can skip days sometimes, maybe you're sick or whatever, but you need to get used to the habit of posting every day. It will help you reach more people, but what it also does is you will correct your mistakes much faster. You will grow much faster.
Oh, that is smart.
Because you're going to make mistakes when you start. It's a learning curve, yeah? So you're going to record a technique, and there's a million things that can go wrong. Your angles are wrong. It's not clear what you're doing. The way you're performing the technique is too many movements. It doesn't look smooth. If you do it once a week or twice a week, you're not going to improve as fast as if you do when you do it every day.
You're confronted with yourself on that video constantly.
Yes. That's also the reason why, like, criticism doesn't bother me. I get so much criticism. Like, I'm immune to it. Like, it's all the same to me. You know what I mean?
Drops off at this point.
Yeah. And your discipline becomes better. Like, you get in the habit of doing it every day. And it's easy to keep doing it if you do it every day. Like, if you do something once a week, it's hard to do it once a week. If you do something every day, it's just a habit. You know? So it's easier to keep it up. You learn from your mistakes quicker. You reach more people. Consistency in this or anything else is the most important thing to succeeding to anything. So that's the number one tip I give.
You think that once a day, especially if people are trying to grow their Instagram and something like that, daily do it? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It if you're on the mats every day, it's actually not that much.
Yeah, I get it. Because
you're on the mats every day. You'll need to find your system of doing it. If you've never done it, you need to find how I'm going to plan this. I'm going to do that at the start of the class, before the class, after the class, who I'm going to do the technique with, how do I record it, what angles. But all those things you'll find out much quicker if you do it every day. You know? So that's the number one thing. Every day, be consistent, do not skip. And that's like half your success, I would say.
Right.
That's one. Another thing you want to do, which is really important, is you will have people DMing you, commenting, whatever, people who follow your shit. Give them attention. People, you need to give them attention or they will not come back. Especially at the start. You need to give them attention. Don't do automize. Put your thought into it, yeah? When someone says something, reply or like an original way. Like, don't say hey, like don't say like something which isn't personal. Try to be personal. try to reply in an original way. You want to have like, if you're gonna grow your Instagram, you want to have like a community. You want to have people returning. You want regular people, yeah, because you're doing this with a goal, right? Eventually, you want to monetize. I don't know, and those are the people you want. Your community, you're kind of building it. So give people attention. Make connections with other people, other creators, other pages. They will share your content. Like, I get shared so often by so many pages because I talk to them. I say, hey, I just make relationships with them. Like, there's one page, Drillers Are Killers. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah, I follow them too.
Great guy, Zach, his name is. Talk to him at least once a week. Just, hey, how are you doing? That kind of stuff. Make connections with them because, like we talked earlier, you need to know people. People help you, you help people, like reciprocity. Like, so you need to be good at talking to people and all that kind of stuff. So make connections with your followers, reply to them, be original, don't be like a robot.
Automated responses.
Yeah, don't do that.
Like, people can see right through that.
Be a
right?
human.
Yeah.
Care about people.
Anything less than human, people will see through it. So
Yes.
it's not worth like giving them like a
Yes.
smileys and shit.
You might grow. Like, there's guys who post on Instagram who don't talk to their followers, but it's useless to have a lot of followers if they're not the type of followers that engage with you. You need to have a certain type of relationship.
But they're buying their robots.
Exactly. Like, man,
no.
this topic, like, those two things are really important. I could give some technical tips.
Ooh, dude, whatever you feel like.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm learning too.
Okay.
I'm definitely learning here too.
I think those are like consistency and engagement with your community is a good important. But technical tips when recording. So I get one of the most common positive feedbacks I get is, hey man, your videos are clear and they're like really obvious. So the movements I make, there's not too many small movements.
Yeah.
I almost like a robot. I do my moves. I exaggerate. I pretend I'm showing this to a fresh white belt who's
For
maybe
the first time.
yeah, like he needs to know what's going on here. Even complicated moves, I will maybe raise my hand here, like, so it's really obvious. I won't make too many movements. I'll show like a few movements. I don't want to move too much, but I'll make them really clear and obvious. And I make a rhythm to my movements. So in my head, I'll be counting 1, 2, 3,
Oh, really?
4. Yes, I count. Sometimes you see my moving my mouth. You see, I'm not talking, I'm counting. Or I'm saying what I'm doing, like grip, this, that. And I make sure the distance between each movement is the same. So when you do it this way, it looks much better. It looks like a rhythm. There's like a... It's just much more appealing.
Did you get to this idea through trial and error, or was this more like...
I was doing it because it felt better. Like doing the move itself, like pointing out what I'm doing, like grip, pull, sweep, this. I was doing it in my head, and then I noticed I'm doing this after. I noticed, hey, I'm doing this rhythm, and then I have my friend Batuan, who's maybe you've seen him in my videos, who's my partner in almost all my videos.
Okay.
Yeah, and other way around too. He's doing really well, by the way. He like grew a lot in the last 2 months, so it's working for him too.
What's his tag?
Batuhan.bjj.
Yeah. Give him a follow, guys.
Yes, definitely do. He's been growing a lot. He's like 3.5K now. Last week it was 2K. Like he's now getting his growth. Really good guy. Really good at jiu-jitsu also, honestly. But when he was recording, I give him feedback all the time, and I saw some movements that didn't look really well. So I told him, hey man, count them in your head like I do. Like, do this 1, 2. He started doing that too. He's like, yeah man, you're right, this works so much better. So that's a really technical tip. Like when you're carrying out a move, just each movement you make it obvious, make it as if you're explaining to a white belt, but also have like a rhythm
into what you're doing.
Yeah, like pause, the same pauses between each movement. It doesn't have to be slow or fast. You decide yourself, but like 1, 2, 3.
But that makes the thing
4.
a little bit more clearer, because
it makes it better.
Yes. Which is fascinating, because you naturally basically came to the realization that you need a script if I were to translate it into like into podcasting or something like that or something. You actually got into like it works better if I script, and that is kind of like it's two things. It's beginner level, like write out what you want to do, but also very technical because you put timestamps on it and you're like that is amazing, man.
Yes.
Just purely by doing something, you actually learned how to.
Yes.
That's
doing it every day. Don't forget.
Every single
every
day.
day. And so that's one technical tip I can give you. I'll give a few more technical tips. Like I won't go too much in depth, but I'll just name them.
If you guys want to learn more, I feel that Azzi is going to come out with a book. So
download my course.
Download the course.
Another thing.
Buy the book.
You can add soundtracks, right, to your videos. I notice it works better if you use instrumentals instead of lyrics. People just like it more. I don't know why. That's one thing. Make sure you fill the screen. Do not be too far away. Like fill the screen because you're gonna record vertically. Fill the screen with the people in it, but don't be too close unless you're showing a detail. So that's also important. People appreciate if you have like your cover photo, which shows on your profile. If you name the move, like a lot of people don't name it, they just put all kinds of techniques without naming. So someone visits your profile, he just sees a bunch of photos, I guess, but they don't know what technique is what. So name them. All these small details, you can see them if you just follow my profile. You see all the things. But consistency and engaging with your community is like those are the two big ones, I would say.
That's the one. Those are the real tricks. And
yes.
There's no way around those two.
You have to do it.
You have to do it.
You have
and
to do it.
that takes time.
Yeah, you definitely have to be consistent. You do not necessarily need to engage with your community because you can grow without it, but you don't want to grow without it.
The personal approach is a lot better.
Yes, and show your personality. Write stories so people get to know you. Make videos of yourself. Show your gym training. Don't just post your reels. Like, make sure people get to know you a bit because they'll build a relationship with you. And I get a lot of DMs, people having conversations with me, and it takes a lot of time, but trust me, in the end, it will be worth it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. This is basically making friends with jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes. You get to know so many people. Yeah, it is.
It's that simple. I'll come back with a question because and I can imagine, might not be real, might not be your case. I can imagine that I did the most insane thing. When I was a purple belt, I went to Brazil and opened my own jiu-jitsu gym. So I went to the place where Brazilian jiu-jitsu was made as a fucking purple belt. It said, you know what? Fuck it.
Balls on you.
The balls on this, man. I got whooped. I deserved it. But I got better.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I wanted to ask is, how did you deal with you're in purple belt? We can say, if we look at purely at belts, you can say like you're halfway into your journey to get to black belt, and then we say you restart again from zero once you get to black, because then there's another whole path to go to. I mean, does it bother you? Do you sit with that? Is there the doubt in you that goes like, what am I doing? Am I doing it right? And if there is any, as a
purple belt, you mean? No,
as somebody that is creating something, and at this point, I don't believe that I have. Still, I have knowledge about what I'm doing in jiu-jitsu, but it's like I still feel like, oh my god, there's so much more I didn't learn. Like I wish I had Danaher's brain and stuff like that. And what I'm trying to go around the circle and ask is like, how do you deal with the doubt of what you're doing? There is any.
I don't doubt myself.
Oh, there you go.
Look, I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm not the best, or I know I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. That's one thing everyone does. We're all extremely flawed humans. But that being said, when I'm teaching and helping people, I see all the appreciation, the value, like I see what I'm doing, like my level of knowledge and what I'm teaching is extremely valuable to a lot of people. So I know it will also be valuable to a lot of people online. Like I have had this experience. So I've had this experience in real life. I'm teaching stuff, and it's people are liking it. I also know that in competitions, I'm good. I beat people. I'm fairly confident in my skill, and I get a lot of praise also in real life. Like, hey man, you're really good, this and that and that. So I'm fairly confident in what I know, and I never had a doubt. Like, hey, you're not good enough for this, or I don't have it at all. I just make sure. I make sure two things are true. I make sure I do everything with the right intention.
Yeah.
So my intention has to be good. For example, helping people.
Yeah.
Not trying to look cool or whatever. So I make sure my intentions are good and that I'm being honest, like truthful. So if those two things are right, it doesn't matter if you're not the best, because you're trying to help people and you're being honest. Then it doesn't matter what you do. Like you don't have to be the best. You don't have to be perfect. Like nobody is. So those two things I keep in mind, and then it doesn't matter what anyone says. Or it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter what you do.
No.
Beautiful. Is that the advice you would give to somebody that is in that situation and they're going to start for themselves and they're doubting?
Oh,
Before we go into that, 1 second. So yeah, that's the question I was about to ask is if somebody is going through this and they have the doubt that they're having, is that the advice you would give to them?
I think yes, 100%. I think that's not just in jiu-jitsu, like in life in general, you always want to have the right intention and you want to be honest. And if you have those two things, anyone can say anything, but you can always say, hey man, I'm just trying to help people and I'm telling the truth. Like, what else do you want me to do? Like, you can help. And it also helps me, like, deal with all the hate, for example, because you're probably doubting yourself because you're worried about the judgment of other people, right? Mm-hmm. You're worrying about haters or what people might think of you.
I think that's the case in most cases. At least that is my case. You know, like I'll go with the doubt. That's one of the things I'll do. You know, that's how I learned to compete. When you get into that mindset of like going to competition, oh no, I'm going to compete, anxiety, all that stress and everything. And my teacher looked at me. Doesn't matter. You're gonna go on that mat either way. So either you live with it, you deal with it, you get rid of it, or you go with it, man.
Yeah, I think it's kind of different if you're competing, having doubt, or if you're trying to put yourself out there for the world to see, like a lot of people. Like if you're competing, it's a smaller amount of exposure towards people, and it's a similar but also different situations. What I'm trying to say is actually like, hey, don't worry about your doubts or whatever. Just do it. Make sure your intentions are right and you're being honest. And as you do it, you'll see that there's nothing to doubt. Like,
there you go.
Yeah. Eventually.
It's all in your head, guys.
If you're not confident, eventually you'll become confident by doing it every day. And like I said, if you get criticism every day, you just become numb to it. Like, it won't matter.
Perfect stuff. We're gonna have a discussion right now. I posted Bernardo Faria did more for jiu-jitsu than anybody else.
Oh yeah.
And I still believe in that. And you came up with, yeah, but what about Royce? And I was like, this dick. And I loved it because you're right.
Yeah, you think so?
Do you think that Royce did more? Let's say it like this. Let me put this out there. Who do you think did more for jiu-jitsu than anybody else?
Julio,
except for creating it. That is the thing. Except for creating it.
Okay, you got me. So, look, when Royce Gracie won and UFC won, I don't know how old I was, 1 year old. So it's not something I actively remember. So I go by the stories of other people. So what I hear other people say is that when he won the UFC, Royce Gracie, he showed, because UFC in the beginning was a lot different than now, yeah? So you had people with different fight styles fighting each other. A karate guy against a boxer, a jiu-jitsu guy against a wrestler, whatever. Royce Gracie won those few first tournaments, I think, and he showed that jiu-jitsu is more effective than the other styles in the UFC, the first few versions. I think that was necessary and it helped the reputation of the sport. And without that, I don't know if it would have grown and become as popular as it has eventually, because that was like kind of that was how it started to become popular in America, I think. Of course, it was around in Brazil before, but I think in America, for the popularity, for the validity of the sport, that helped a lot. And it is in no way to be compared, because it's a completely different time. And Bernardo did so many amazing things and still is doing for the jiu-jitsu now. He's like with BJJ Fanatics, he's growing it. Everyone has their own role. But I think that was like a milestone, if you would say. And not to take anything away from Bernardo Faria, he's amazing.
He just talks funny.
You, John. He talks funny. He's a very positive guy. I think everyone likes him. And I think that's the reason why I would say Royce Gracie did more for jiu-jitsu than Bernardo.
Did Royce do more or did Rickson do more?
Tell me about it. I don't know.
And you, what do you think?
I don't know. What did Rickson do, according to you?
Oh, well, Rickson went into Japan and actually solidified it over there.
Okay.
And he, like, the thing with Japan, I think, was, like, Royce in the UFC, awesome. That already gave an idea. But also consider the following. Everybody that was, except for Ken Shamrock, everybody else was pulled into waters they did not understand. That's true. I was like, and that is a hard thing to deal with. I remember one of the posts that came out, or not one of the posts, but I remember seeing a video of, internet, correct me if I'm wrong, Carlson, but old Carlson Gracie. And he said like this, guys, we kicked the world's ass. Do you know what that means? Do you know the impact of what we did? And I think the biggest ass kicker of the whole thing was Rickson when he went to Japan, because Japan already had a culture of like leg locks and foot locks and that catch wrestling that caught on there hard. And like to a level that we didn't even understand that they had all that, you know?
Let me be honest with you. What you just said, I didn't know.
What? About the
Rickson going to Japan and all this stuff. So... I didn't know. I don't think a lot of people know that.
All right, so Rickson was one of the... There was this whole Japan culture going around, right? And pride at the time and all these things, you know, like what the Vale Tudo was in Brazil. It was a little bit more. And in Japan, we didn't get much news from Japan in that sense. You know? And I'm not that old. But I remember watching my first UFC on videotape and actually having to scroll back with a button, like not like past back 15 seconds. No, I'd actually have to go to the machine and just go like, what the fuck happened?
You're sure not that old?
Man, fuck you. Fuck you.
No, but
I'm happy. No, but that was videotapes, ladies and gentlemen, for you new listeners. That's what we had before Netflix. Oh my god.
Yeah.
One of the things he went over there, and then man, did he kick ass in that time. I mean, he was challenging all like great and big names in wrestling and catch wrestling back in Japan. They were into that WWE, but they did it differently because they had the catch
wrestling.
Yeah, the catch approach to it. Well, there's like old videos of Imanari and all these Humina Sato, and those guys were like doing shit that you go like. One of the podcasts I want to do was on history. That I want to do soon is like history of BJJ and just go through it all and talk for 12 hours straight about. I
think a lot of people would like to hear that.
Yeah,
like,
man.
They don't know a lot about the history. Like also, I don't know everything myself, but there was like the Gracies going around in gyms challenging people, right?
Gracie Storms.
Like that's something you hear a lot. So I think that's also interesting to mention.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, but they did the good work, and that was it. Like they were like, this is the best thing ever, and we're gonna prove it.
You know who also did a lot for jiu-jitsu? Joe Rogan.
Oh,
100%.
I think. Oh, did he do more than
maybe
Bernardo?
Well, look, Joe Rogan has the biggest podcast. I don't know how many downloads. I think 150 million downloads a month or something.
That's insane.
And he talks about jiu-jitsu all the time. So, like, I think he reached a lot of people.
That and the DMT community has grown to exceptional proportions.
He brought them together. Everyone who does jiu-jitsu does DMT too.
Oh no, you know that dick made me actually consider doing it, and I'm a good boy.
Oh yeah.
I stay in my lane. I tried some shit, but at this point I'm sitting down and thinking like, you know what, it's only 15 minutes and it will open my mind.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to aliens.
Yeah.
I'll watch cartoons fuck behind my eyelids, is that what's gonna happen?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. You wonder what is it actually that you're experiencing if you're doing it. Like, it's maybe like some kind of realm, or you go into your unconscious. So it's really interesting.
Kind of interests you too.
Definitely, man.
Yeah,
Joe
man.
Rogan got me, man.
Yeah, goddamn. But did he do more for jiu-jitsu? That's a good. I think for the people that didn't know about it, he definitely was like he's like a. How should I describe him? He's like that cool friend that every man has. That responsible, crazy uncle.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And he tells you like, jiu-jitsu is good. Try it. Go try it.
I think Joe Rogan, of course, the biggest podcaster. Like, he reaches so many people, and it's hard to measure what he did exactly. But I think he had a huge impact. I was watching the Gordon Ryan. So he posted something. Joe Rogan sponsoring him, or ADCC
for ADCC,
yeah. And I was reading the comments, and like a lot of people were saying, yeah, Joe Rogan got me into jiu-jitsu and that kind of stuff. So I think definitely had a big impact.
Who else is sponsoring them? Browse, right?
Browse, yes. Amazing, Browse. Right?
Their gis are amazing. They're made out of 100% kangaroo, which are an extinct species, and that makes it feel so much better. Browse. If you want your clothes to be made by extinct animals, that's where you go to. I warned them before I actually started going into partnerships, so they know.
It even makes you jump like kangaroos, man.
I know, right? They kill a koala every single time they make one as a celebration. Purely for that. The koala isn't used in any kind of way except for blood spilling.
Sacrifices.
As a sacrifices. But that's why it feels so good.
Yeah.
You have to make sacrifices in life.
Pretty cool.
Gordon Ryan, that's one of the reasons that it got me into posting what I posted, because Gordon was saying like, nobody has done for this sport as much as I. And I was like, I hate your guts. You're really good. Yeah. I can't take it away from him. Definitely.
Yeah.
There's still a discussion in my mind for like, is he the GOAT compared to Marcel Garcia? Or is he the GOAT compared to Roger in no-gi? Because it was a different time, different people, different era.
100%.
But my argument towards Marcel Garcia is...
Smaller guy.
Smaller dude.
Smaller guy beating up bigger guys.
That you remember that video that he has the big guy's back and the big guy smashes him?
I know what you mean. Yes.
I felt that in my...
Actually, a lot of stuff they do, like the Danaher Death Squad, I saw Marcelo do before. Like the Sumigeishi sweeps... using leg attacks to come up, sweeps. Like I think a lot of what they do originated from Marcelo, and he's so technical. He's smaller, different era, of course. So everything you do now has much more impact than what you did back then. But who's the GOAT? Yeah, very hard question to answer. It's really hard to answer.
Yeah.
Really hard to answer.
That's one to especially if we're so deep into the sport and we're watching these people.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, the skill level now is much higher, of course. Like the game developed. So what Gordon does overall, I think he's the best ever right now. But the GOAT, being the GOAT greatest of all time, is a different question to answer.
It's also scary to think that this is everybody's studying. Instructionals are there for everybody. Everybody can see their techniques and everything like that. There's so much, and there's so much you have to know if you're going to competition nowadays. And I think the scariest thing is that there is a legitimate possibility that somebody might come up and beat Gordon, and that brings a whole new era of techniques, stuff, and depth into it.
That'd be awesome, right?
That'll be awesome. I must say, I did get discouraged at a point when leg locks came in.
Okay.
I didn't know any. I was raised traditionally in jiu-jitsu, man. You put a gi on me, I'm happy. But
What belt were you when that happened? Like you were discouraged?
you want to hear it?
Black belt?
You know how pissed I was? You know how insanely
crazy, yeah.
pissed and demotivated I was?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like something
Getting tapped 16 times
Yeah.
in no gi, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
Yeah, it's a something that has been neglected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50% of the body.
Why would you ignore it?
And why would you ignore it? Yeah, man, heel hooks was a whole new game for me.
It changed the game, no-gi game. It even changed the IBJJF rule set. Like,
Yeah.
they allow heel hooks now for brown belts and black belts, which I think is a good thing.
And they allow saddle entry for every other belt, I think. Wasn't that one of the new rule sets?
I think they allow. I might be wrong on this. They allow the saddle entry for all belts.
Yeah.
But if you actually attack the leg, the leg you're controlling with the saddle, that's considered a disqualification. I might be wrong now.
I think they only wrote down the new rules.
Oh,
And
really?
they didn't yet show it and film it. They usually do that.
Okay.
But I know for a fact that, but that's what I'm teaching people, that you can enter saddle
Mm-hmm.
and you can put your hand on top of somebody's foot.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment it slides to the side or under, that's when and that's the
Okay.
leg that is stuck. So if you have the leg that is in saddle,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you're covering with your arm, you're okay.
You're
you
fine.
should be good. The moment you wrap it, go
Mm.
under it, do anything else with it, and I don't know,
Okay.
anything, then it's up to the judges, and you should never leave anything up to the judges.
Yeah. Those rules have to be clear when they come out. Like they need to be clear on it, because a lot of people are always confused about what's allowed, what's reaping, is this allowed? Can I control the leg here?
Yeah.
Like it's confusing.
People don't read the rules. Come on, it's
They
like the
don't.
Apple agreement.
Terms of service. I agree.
I might be like, I'm interested in them, so I usually read through them. But I think that me and a handful of people go like, okay. And in general, people just look at them and go like, this is probably it.
I think it's important as a competitor, though. Like you need to base a certain part of your tactics also around the rules. Like
How are you going exactly?
Yeah.
How are you going to create tactics if you don't know what your rule set is or what the basis are from
Yeah.
creating your tactics?
and it still happens a lot that people don't know. Professionals, like they don't know, or they're not clear about something, and strange, huh?
ADCC lately, right? Everybody didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
You can smash people through the floor. That's so scary.
Oh man, you saw that buggy choke?
Oh my god! I saw the guy almost dying. I saw a piece of
Crazy.
his soul leave and then come back. And say, like, I'm not ready yet.
That's insane, huh? That's insane.
Do you think it's good? Or not?
What do you mean?
Slams.
I think. Well, I think so. In ADCC, the rule is you're allowed to slam someone to get out of a submission. Yeah, but a slam is kind of a strike. I think it's like same of striking someone. Am I allowed to punch someone in the face to get out of a submission? Because that strike he did, it's more powerful. The slam he did was more powerful than the strike. So, I think if you want to avoid situations like this, because this ended good, but it could have ended really badly, I think you should not allow this.
No, take it out for the safety of people.
Yes, I think it's better if you don't allow slams.
Or at least within a level.
Yeah, it's hard to draw lines. So if you're going to allow it for certain things, and then you're going to have discussion about where the line is. So either you allow it completely, I think, or you just ban it. And I think it would be better to ban it, because then you don't have these situations where somebody might even die. You know what I mean? If you get caught in a buggy and you can't get out of the technical way, or you didn't do it, prevent it technically,
You already lost.
yeah, you lost, man.
Yeah, accept it.
Yeah, but in this rule set, he was allowed to slam him, so I don't think he did anything wrong. Like
No.
he did what was allowed, and
he was in his right.
he was in his right. Yeah.
I agree. There's definitely for the safety of sport. I was also against at the I came from a place with a lot of prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say it like this: Brazilians will joke and create jokes about everything.
Yeah.
If you do something stupid, you're fucked for a month. And if you do something really stupid, then that's your nickname from that point on. Right? That's it. That's it. It's your nickname, and you're done.
It's fun.
one of the things is like if you're a footlocker, they look down on you.
Really?
Yeah, you look
shit.
down. But you're a zapatero, and zapatero is a shoemaker. Because you're always measuring somebody's foot under your arm.
You know, Bushesha means shoe face or something?
No. Bushesha means cheeks because he has fat cheeks. Always had fat cheeks. There's a colleague of him. That's a good one. There's somebody he trains with, and this guy, his name or his nickname is Shoe Face.
Shoe face.
Cara de sapato. Like, who the fuck came up with that? But then you look at his face and you're like, it looks like a damn shoe.
I knew someone was called Shoe face.
Yeah, man. Oh, they're horrible. In Brazil, they're horrible with that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's
funny.
It's insane.
Crazy.
Oh my God. We had a dude that was, he didn't have a leg. You know what his nickname was? Half guard.
Because he's right away in half guard.
There's no other guard.
They called him half guard.
They called him half guard. Because he had half a leg.
Man.
Oh my God. No, they're horrible. No love. Say massaging. Say massaging is no massages.
Yeah. If you're in an environment with only men, you need to learn how to deal with this kind of jokes also.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Yeah.
Come on. I think the worst one, I'm not going to, but I think Daniel has a good one too.
Bunda Branca.
Bunda Branca. White ass.
Makes sense, huh?
Yeah, sure. That's a good one as well. And he got it from Bushesha, so you can't complain.
He got it from Bushesha?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, ask him his story.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
I will.
It's a good one. Training around it, then Bushesha comes up to you and gives you a nickname.
It's an huge honor.
Yeah. It's a huge honor. Ah, my man, that is some beautiful stuff. Why, out of everything in the world that you were able to do as a human being and all the things that you can do, why would you advocate in any kind of way to do jiu-jitsu? Let's say it like this. People are unbound and can do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
So to make it deeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do whatever you want
Mm-hmm.
in life. Why would you do jiu-jitsu?
So, jiu-jitsu is a combat sport, yeah?
Yeah.
And as a person, especially as a man, I think, you need to learn to defend yourself. So some form of self-defense. I think it's useful. I don't think it's useful. It is useful. Like, you need to know. Because you never know what might happen. And there's a bunch of combat sports you can choose from, right? You can choose to do MMA, like the closest thing to real fighting. You can choose to do kickboxing, wrestling, whatever. I think jiu-jitsu, in that aspect, is the best one to choose. Why? Because not only will it learn to defend yourself, but you can also do it without getting the worst type of injury. Of course, you can get injured doing jiu-jitsu, but getting concussions or kicked in the face or punched in the face or a broken nose, these things can happen more likely in those other sports, I feel. And jiu-jitsu is just awesome. So if you can train and meet all these people who are, you see all types of people in jiu-jitsu, which you don't see in other sports that much, like a variety of individuals from different walks of life. I think it has a lot more benefits than just self-defense. There's so much to say about the benefits of the sport, and I really think it's the most beautiful and beneficial martial art, like, in general, in my opinion. I know opinions can differ, but that's what I feel.
The vibe in a good jiu-jitsu gym is different.
It's
right?
different, yeah.
The community is awesome
like,
as well, man.
There's, like, if you do MMA, there's a lot of people just trying to be hard asses. You find that less in jiu-jitsu. Like, there's, like, in our gym, we have people from all ages, almost like up to 50 years old, with different nationalities, different professions. It's a really diverse environment. You get to learn, you get to meet and get to learn about all types of people, and I think it's a really good thing to do.
That's amazing.
Right?
That's amazing. One of the things that did attract me a lot to it was I started because I just wanted to keep training. I was starting to get fat. So I was like, let me try jiu-jitsu. It's Brazilian. I'm Brazilian. I should know. Same thing with capoeira. When I started doing it a little bit, I was like, I have to give credence to my nationality at some point. And that was one of the things. And I came into it. And once I came into it, the vibe was so... It's different, man. It's different. You're having like the hardest sparring sessions, actually really trying to catch each other at a certain point. But then afterwards, you're still cool with each other and having the liberty of going so hard with somebody else that you know.
Mm-hmm.
And still stay friends afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, in boxing and kickboxing, that doesn't happen that much. I mean, if you go really hard, then it's...
You can't go really hard in those sports as you can in jiu-jitsu, I think. Like in jiu-jitsu, you can give 100% effort and you'll be fine most of the time, right? Of course, injuries happen everywhere, even if you play football or whatever. But I think in jiu-jitsu, it's a lot nicer knowing you can go 100% and keep doing that like every day. Of course, you'll get sore and stuff, but I think that's a really good advantage of it. What would you say is like the biggest benefit of jiu-jitsu, your opinion?
My opinion on the biggest benefit, I would say, but I'm very community focused. So if we can build an army together of people that are there to help each other, because that's what I end up doing. Like, you don't make enemies in jiu-jitsu, you make friends mostly. Even in competition, at the end, like, you might have somebody where you get a little bit of a, how do I say this? You get a little bit of a pissed off at, but that's you end up within your category always fighting the same people over and over again.
Yeah.
So you won't get angry with them, you'll usually... So even in that sense, you create this beautiful community of people that are trying to help each other and grow each other. And I don't want to say because there's so little women in it, it becomes like this man club. And I really sound like a CrossFitter or a vegan right now, just trying to promote it as much as... And that bothers me, but all right. I promote it because of the reasons that you can be in a... I hate this word, safe space.
I hate safe spaces too, man.
Man, this is like... But hey, doesn't it feel like you're at home?
Yes.
When you get to jiu-jitsu, you're like, okay, I'm here. I'm going to fight for my life right now. And that's where I feel the best, with people that I enjoy.
I feel like on the mats, my favorite place to be, man. Training. I was going to say myself, the biggest benefit of jiu-jitsu is the people you meet. The people you get to know, like... I think that's the biggest advantage of it. Next to all the other advantages like self-defense, getting in shape, like competition, it will make you confident. But I think meeting people and getting to know people, the community, the network you make, I think that's a really big one.
I think that confidence is a really good thing. And I think that all this... Let's go deeper. I think that confidence is the initial step. Like it's the beginning of what we're actually trying to do, because we're always trying to get deeper into what we're doing. Like, where do you go when there's... I'll give you an example, and this might be like hippie as fuck right now, but no. Sometimes when you're flow rolling with somebody you usually train with more often, and you're focused so much into it doesn't feel like meditating, and then like time starts and you go like, okay, let's go, and then the buzzer sounds and you're like, what, 30 seconds passed or something, but you've been in it for 5 minutes.
100%.
And there's something deeper in that, this meditation kind of like rolling kind of thing.
100%. It's the same as meditation, because you're in the moment. Like, that's what you're trying to do when you're meditating. You're focusing on the moment, what you're doing, like focusing on your breath. When you're doing jiu-jitsu, you're in that same moment. You get into that flow. You forget all the other things you worry about when you're not in the moment. So in that sense, it's exactly the same like meditation. It relieves you from stress. You get to shake off everything. You just get to focus on not getting killed or killing someone. Yeah. You don't focus on anything else. You're just trying not to get choked, or you're trying to choke someone. Like,
I know. And these are the things that it's a little bit it's egoistical. So it's something that I do for myself, in the sense that I'll give you even a more controversial kind of point of view. I don't even like to, if I'm in a good role with somebody, I don't even like to go for the submission. if I kind of see it happening and I see it open there, I don't like to like immediately bite in it and then finish the roll, because then somewhere in my heart it's like, then the roll finishes and I won't get to continue evolving and doing whatever like a cat and mouse game we're playing right now. You know, to that extent I also want to bring this out to my life. So I hope that in I don't know how many years, when I'm good enough, that I can be walking around in that state, like constantly, of being hyper focused, in a flow, relaxed at the same time, don't get tired, and that is where that's what I want my coral belt to look like if I get there, you know, and I believe I will, because I'm aiming for it. So that's where I wanna to get, and that's one of the things that I get depth out of life through it. You know, if my goal is depth out of life, then Jiu-Jitsu is one of the most amazing tools for people that like to express themselves with movement.
100%. I think that's a great goal to have also.
You know what I mean? It's funny, right? When we get into that meditation kind of state and shit like that. I used to, I'm not proud of it, and I'm not saying for you guys to do it, but I used to roll like, once I started feeling that kind of meditation kind of roll kind of stuff, I started like smoking a bunch of weed. And I used to, man, my purple belt was up in smoke, basically.
I think what you're saying, like getting into like a flow in the meditation state, that's why I like to do longer rolls. You know, like rolling with someone for 10 minutes straight or 20 minutes straight, it's different than when you roll for 3-minute rounds, 5-minute rounds. You just don't have enough time to get into that type of flow. So I would recommend anyone, like if you're rolling, switch it up, do 3-5-minute rounds, but also do 10 or 20-minute rounds. And when you roll with someone for 20 minutes, you naturally get into that flow and you start recognizing patterns. You see things that are happening over and over again, and you'll be seeing much faster where you're hitting a wall because those patterns repeat, and then you'll be able to improve much faster. I really think
definitely
that's really important.
My old teacher used to say Jiu-Jitsu starts after 15 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was a good one. It was horrible. It was hell rolling with him for more than 20, because it was the first time in my life that somebody spin me in the air, and I was like, no, that is... But, you know, Fernando, one of the other teachers, he mentioned this. You know, remember Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Oh, yeah. You
know when the music starts and he gets into and one of the guys
I remember that one.
That shit happened to me.
In Jiu-Jitsu?
Uh-huh.
He hated you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Will Smith, man. Controversy too.
Slap in the face.
Oh man,
that is an example of not having your emotions under control.
Oh yeah,
that's an example of not being manly and not being in control of the situation. Man.
Yeah. He was actually laughing about the joke first. You know, he was laughing, and then I think his wife Jada was looking like offended, and then the crowd went, and then he felt, now I need to show myself.
The thing that got to me, okay, if you stand up, slap the guy, be the thing, right? Isn't the right thing. I can imagine reasons for doing that, but once you get back in the chair and you're like shaking, and you're just, your voice is quivering from stuff, I mean, hey, you lost. You lost.
Yeah, I think you should. It's another topic, but I think you should have left her a long time ago. I've seen some footage of her doing some
that
weird...
hoe, definitely. Oh my God.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I'm an advocate for like marriage, family,
yes,
and all these kinds of things. Men out there, wherever you are, your purpose: build a family.
Yes.
Get yourself one wife. Stop fucking around. Get yourself a kid. Get yourself, like, work towards it and have a space and room to do all these things. But listen to me. The moment she jump on another dick,
oh man,
no, hey, there's no coming back. There's no coming back. Stop it.
He's only saying he approves kind of like of that behavior. He's willing to tolerate it, and I don't think it can go uphill from there.
No, that's it.
And not with her personality. I've seen videos like of her like belittling him, like while recording her husband. He says, "Don't record me." Like, weird woman, man. I don't know what's up in his mind. I don't really follow it, man. But
might be the idea that if they divorce, he loses about 60 million, 70 million.
It might be worth it at this point, bro.
Yeah. much money does it take?
It might be worth it, man.
It takes Will Smith money to not let go of that woman, and he has some. Yeah, he has some cash, man. But yeah, so I think jiu-jitsu also helps in those aspects, in like controlling yourself and knowing your limits. And
someone should tell him to take up a class,
man. Definitely, definitely. Hang out under like a guy that weighs way more than you inside control, and like people screaming at you, just shrimp. Like, let's see if you don't learn composure quick.
You know who I love rolling with? Not love rolling with, but I like doing this when someone who's really big, tough, like a bodybuilder type guy, comes rolling for the first class, just to show him that it doesn't matter. You know, like this is not just about being strong and big and muscular, like showing him like technique, like what jiu-jitsu is able to do. Like I think that's really cool to do. And I think I like to do it because they might think like, hey man, I'm this big guy, but this smaller guy who's not as muscular, not as strong got me this, so maybe I should learn this, like this is the value of it. So I think that's a really cool thing also.
Have functional muscles, have functional body. That's one of the things.
Yeah,
I love it too. I love especially when new people come, I like to see their faces. and the thing when you do, like, you put yourself in one of the worst positions ever, and then you just, because they don't know it, you know, and then suddenly you're on their back and their face is like, what happened? And I said, jiu-jitsu, my friend. Jiu-jitsu, my friend.
It's a great filter because
it's a huge honor.
It's a great filter because either the guy will be like, his ego will be too big, and he's not supposed to be there anyway because his ego is too big. He will not come again because he just got tapped out by a really small guy. Or the guy understands, hey man, I'm in this situation, this is amazing, and then he'll love the sport. Like I find it really cool. Definitely.
One of the ego problems, that's a thing as well. I don't know. You learn to let go of that stuff. I mean,
you need to, man.
But there's I get stuck with the idea, like, you know how fighters need a little bit of ego?
You never get rid of it completely, man.
Yeah.
You always have it a bit. It's impossible actually to get. I think it's impossible to get rid of it completely.
I kind of want to let it go because it does. How do I say this? It does interfere in me rolling at my best. If I have something in my life that happened and I'm going to a competition, for example.
Yeah.
And I don't expect anything from it and I don't desire anything from it because the circumstances that day or that week made it so that the competition is something that I'm just going to. I do always, and it's not much of like, do I desire to win or do I desire to use? It's not there at all. That's when I outperform myself. And that's when I go like, man, I'm proud of what I did.
Okay.
And I think that's when I noticed that I don't really have much ego on these days. On the other hand, if you walk around like Conor McGregor and you have this, like you live the ego you have, Gordon Ryan, you live the ego that you have, and you're walking around going like, I am the king, stop it, go home, I came here to pick up my stuff. Yeah, because he walks into a competition like, I came here to pick up my medal and my money and go home.
Yeah.
So I'm in between those two.
I think like it's hard to be without ego completely, but I think you can have an ego and detach from it, kind of. Like you can be that person like Gordon Ryan, because Conor McGregor, I feel like a lot of what they do is just for people to see, like the show and to make fans. Like it's fun to have these guys sometimes. Yeah, they entertain us, but if you have that aspect of yourself and you learn to distance yourself from it, that it doesn't bother you really if you lose or if you tap or if you get your ass kicked, they can go together, I think. That's how I see it, at least.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm not sure Conor is playing a game anymore.
Yeah,
Gordon,
hard to see.
Gordon, I'm still in doubt, right? A lot of people meet him and say like nicest human being on earth, but Conor, man, this one gave me chills, and literally changed the way I see a little bit of things.
Yeah.
Remember when he fought Floyd?
Yes.
There's a press conference where they're doing a face-to-face, and he looks Floyd dead in the eye, and the cameras are really like they're close, but there's no sound, there's no mic, you know, because they're really close to each other, and he's looking Floyd dead in the eye, and he says like, "Boom, your head bouncing off the canvas."
I remember it.
And he's like, "And the new," and then Floyd says, "You're a comedian," and he says, "Good luck to you." Man, that didn't feel like a game. That felt like that was war right there. Fucked up thing. Like Floyd is a gangster too, man. You can't put Floyd down in any way.
That was a crazy time, huh?
Shit. That dude did whatever he wanted to at one point.
Yeah. Then you mentioned Gordon. Like he also says crazy things. Like, you know, Andre fought in the ONE FC.
Yeah. What did you think about that? Because I'm literally disappointed in Andre, and I love him.
Yeah, but Rainier's amazing too.
Rainier's good. Let's not take that away from Rainier. Yeah, Rainier is a beast.
I didn't really like the fight. Not much happened. I think Andre got one takedown, and then he passed. I think, if I remember correctly. But I like that Rainier didn't get subbed. Like I think it's pretty cool for him. Yeah. Why I mentioned this fight is because Gordon, after the fight, he said, Andre is a purple belt on the ground. Like, you can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
I hate Gordon for that shit, but when he says this stuff, you know, I take it with a little bit of a grain of...
Yeah, of course. How can you take that serious, man? Andre is a purple belt on the ground.
If you're fighting somebody, then at one point, for that much and for that honor, and if you live it, there's no limits. I wouldn't go into family and stuff like that. That's a little bit too much. Some guys that do that,
like Conor.
Yeah, I like what Khabib does, which is respectful, direct, and stuff like that. I like that example. And just fight it. But I do agree on the mental game. It has to be there. It has to. You're fighting somebody. You have to make them doubt every single step they take, and that's what he's doing. Then again, this fight against Rainier, there's two possibilities in my mind. Either Andre isn't as good as we all thought because of the history. Maybe he's getting old. Maybe something is off. Something like that. His history shows different. His history shows that he has done really, 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 really fucking well. Or maybe Rainier is way better than we actually considered. Which is the possibility I'm leaning towards. That Rainier is a lot better.
Rainier is definitely really fucking good. But Andre, he's probably getting worse because he's getting older. I don't know how old. I think he's 40 now. So that's also a factor.
40 something.
No.
Yeah, just 40.
I think 40. Something. Or maybe he's just turning 40. I don't know. That's also a factor. He's not the same one. Hard to say, man. I'm really excited for ADCC to see that match.
Man, I'm itching for that one. I might even, for the first time in my life, now get a pay-per-view.
Can you believe Marcelo is going there, man? Lucky bastard.
Marcelo is going to be there. That's true, bro.
Awesome, huh?
Oh my God, I hate them. They're also doing super seminars over there, right? Something like that. He mentioned that to me. Yeah. Maybe.
Man, imagine.
Man, I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to see Felipe Pena again with, I think he's going to fight Gordon, or he's one category lower, or in the same. Did it go through?
I think he's in the same category, plus 99.
Yeah.
99 plus, so I think they're going to fight there, hopefully.
And Gordon said, I'll do the super fight, and I want to do my category.
Yeah.
That's
cool, right?
That's big dick energy right there.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. I'm excited to see, Cole Abate. 16, 17 years old kid, man. Amazing.
And these kids coming up, they're scary.
Crazy.
They're scary. That's one of the scariest things to me, too. Man, I'm noticing that I'm falling back. I'm getting older. And
they learn so fast, so much information available. Like, sport is evolving in such a rate. Like, it's crazy. And I hope it keeps growing. Hope, like, only good for everyone.
I do have an opinion that might be controversial. I don't think that with certain people, with certain specific people, it evolved technically. I I think the rest evolved athletically. And I'll give you an example. Mika Galvão. How explosive is that dude?
Oh man,
that's
amazing.
Insane. So to my head is like, how much is explosive like luck, and how much is explosive, or how much is what you know is actually technique? Like, would you be able to perform the same exact thing if you weren't a beast of an athlete?
100%. It helps to be in physically great shape, explosive, strong, fast, conditioning. 100%. It helps everyone. So I don't think that's controversial. If he would be able to do the same things if he wasn't that much. It's a hard question to answer. But you cannot deny the guy is super technical as well. Like, stuff he does, stuff he pulls off. Like, he's both. And I think that's the modern athlete. Like, all these new guys, they're going to be in physical great shape, which was maybe not the case for 20 years ago. You could get away with a lot of stuff. But now you need to be technically on point, and you need to be physically in great shape. So it's like you're reaching that level where all the small things, all the things that can work to your advantage now matter. It's not, you can't just get away with being good technically. You need to be good in shape as well, and vice versa. Like,
it has to become, which is also like a good inspiration, guys. Don't let your physical part like fall back. I mean, it has to happen. One of the older teachers started telling me, like, they used to not to believe in this. They were like, train jiu-jitsu every day. Every day, it's your breakfast, lunch, everything. You know, like, don't worry about it. But the older they got, the more they were saying, like, listen, add strength and conditioning to it. Don't get older. Yeah. Going through all the pains that I'm going through. And I'm feeling that shit right now, man. I'm like, oh, fuck. Maybe I should lift a weight or something.
Yeah, I think it has benefit. Not everyone needs it. Like Marcelo, he never did any strength and conditioning.
That guy is weird. Yeah. Listen, have you ever seen his legs? They're not
thick,
normal.
Thick calves.
Thick, he's all thick.
Yeah.
He's like a human version of a penguin or something like that. He didn't have, like, he was... There's footage of him in Pride. Did you ever see that?
Nope.
Man, that guy is like...
Yeah,
jacked. He used to be,
crazy.
But his legs are different.
Yeah, for me, strength and conditioning, it helps. Like, I feel my posture improves. I'm stronger. It has downsides. I think if you put on too much muscle, too much weight, you're gonna be less flexible. Flexibility is also really important. But you need to balance everything. Like, you need to have some strength and conditioning, but still remain flexible and fast and conditioning. Like, it's a balancing act. That's what I feel.
You have to work on everything at this point. You want to make it to the top, you have to be smart, everything.
For sure. And you want to have those biceps, right? For on the beach.
Oh, shit. Yeah, of course. That's what women love.
Do your bicep curls.
Do your bicep curls. Azzi, this was an amazing time I had with you. And I have one more question.
Yes.
What would you want to tell the people? This is the moment where I give you to say, like, this is a thing that I want to give on. If this podcast gets it to the internet, then it's big probability that it'll stay forever. And in the future, maybe 5, 10, 20 years from now, people will be listening.
What do I want to tell the people? If you're listening to this podcast, I want to tell you to keep training.
Yes.
Don't stop. Go all the way to black belt, because a lot of people quit. Like, they get a blue belt, they stop. You don't have to do what I do, but try to play your part in the jiu-jitsu community. Whichever way you feel that is. Support your teammates. Share videos of other people in your Instagram. Like, any way you can help the sport is appreciated. And that's actually the most important thing, I think. Just help grow the sport, support your teammates, support your community, and that's the one thing I would like to tell everyone.
Oh, my brother, it's been an amazing pleasure. I'm so happy.
My pleasure, man. Thank you for having me, brother.
This has been one of the great ones again. I loved having you over, man.
I love being here, man.
Oh, thank you, everybody, for listening. See you guys soon.